Oh, hey!
Hey!
How are you, dude?
Oh, I'm good, thanks. You?
Oh, awesome, thank you. Awesome. I tell you what, this is going to play havoc with the exposure levels, isn't it? All this light reflecting off our domes.
Off our barnets, off our melons.
Yeah, I've freshly glassed mine as well.
I promise you, people, we're not like really ill or anything. This is a choice. Well, it's not a choice.
Yeah.
Life's thrown us a choice.
Yeah, the choice was to have a beard or not have a beard.
Well, yeah, Sean, is the beard? Is there a beard there?
No, it's gone. The lady beard went. I took offence to your last comment on the last podcast. You called it a lady beard, so I whipped it off to get my boyish looks back.
It's worked. It's worked. That's all I'll say. Are you lads ready to rumble straight off the off, so to speak?
Yeah, we're all good. Levels are good. We're recording. We're in.
I think so. How am I coming across Russia and America?
No problem.
It sounds quite loud in my ears. Am I shouting?
No, you're all good here.
No.
All good.
Yeah, cool. All right.
Smashing.
Just
Right,
sick of
we'll
the
crack
sound of
on
my
then,
own
shall
voice.
we? Folks, look who we got. Likeable rider, Andy Mancam. Welcome, man.
Hiya.
How's it going?
Now, excellent. Very good, thank you. Very good. Is this going to be as drunken as the previous two attempts with you two?
Well,
No.
no. I'm disappointed.
Lies.
Are you...
Right.
Yeah, I'm going to get a beer out.
Lafroig.
Yeah, some of the good stuff.
Oh, Andrew, you spoil us.
Well, I like to give gentlemen with such high calibre as yourselves a nice finish at the end.
I'm going with
What
the
have you got?
half litre Kimsey. That's from Bavaria somewhere.
It's in an area. Shall we open and get started?
Yeah.
You've
Oh, I
already cracked
already
it.
did. Sorry, chaps.
It's quite all right. It's a German thing.
The
It's like
typical Brits already necked it.
that's his ninth one.
Charles.
Prost.
Cheers!
Cheers, chaps.
Cheers.
Sláinte.
Oh, good stuff. Good stuff. Right, men. You may be surprised to hear. I don't think you will, but there are a lot of questions. A lot of questions. To be frank, I don't think we're even going to get through all the Patreon ones, but we'll do our best. Shall we just fire? In fact, I tell you what. How are things? How's things going? We'll have a bit of chit chat before.
Oh, who goes first?
I don't know, but someone turned their phone off.
Yeah, who was that?
That was you, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'll go then if you like. Yeah, all
Yeah.
good at my end. I mean, I'm rocking through it, to be honest. Nothing really much has changed since the last time we was on. So,
Are you guys back in another lockdown, or is it eased off, or what's happened?
sort of a semi sort of lockdown. You know, restaurants and other bits and bobs and pubs, and that's all back to being shut. And
Yeah.
but schools and normal days work for me is carrying on. So. It's
that's
only
good.
the sort of social stuff that's really binned off. You can only sort of meet up with a handful of people. I think it's 2 households, up
Yeah.
to 5 people. I don't even pay attention to it anymore. I don't even listen. I put the radio on of a morning just to see if there's any update, and then I just switch off. I don't really give a shit.
Is it
Oh,
2021?
still shit.
Yeah, fast forward this year, skip it. Do you have the tier section? We've got this tiered system here at the moment in the UK. So like tier 3 is you're a leper, which I'm in. Kent, we've got one town in Kent that has they had a bit of an outbreak in this one place. And so the entire county's been put into tier 3.
Okay.
Everywhere round about us is tier 2. But
What's it like
well,
in
here was-
Hamburg? Andy?
I think it's the same as was there with you, mate. But Germany's a bit weird because it's a little bit like America in the fact that Angela is at the top and she's sort of in charge, but it's actually a federal system, so the states can actually do whatever the hell they want. They can just they can accept the rules that they want to accept. Like, for example, I think I heard the other day that Schleswig-Holstein, which is the state next to me, next to Hamburg, they've got really low numbers, so they've decided that they're not going to do anything as strict as everybody else. But yeah, the rest of us are mostly like Sean says, 2 households, maximum 5 people, and no tongues.
Damn.
No tongues. Oh no. How are things with you, Andy? Like, obviously you work in the theatre industry. Is that dead in the water at the moment, or have you got anything? You know, is there any sort of theatre life?
Completely dead, mate. Completely dead. I last worked. When did I last work? March.
Dude.
So yeah, since the whole thing's been going on. But obviously, thankfully Germany's got the furlough system, so it's not like I'm starving. But
I kind of need some of that action. I've had to work since the beginning. I had a day off. I had to keep going.
Well, yeah, I was going to say that's the irony is that as a YouTuber, it's like you said at the beginning, Bruce. This is perfect. I'm forced to stay at home in front of my computer the whole time, so I've been editing videos like an absolute maniac.
Yeah, I was going to say, the pair of you, your videos seem to have stepped up a level. It's like, oh shit. Like the production quality is bloody good. And your audio is amazing on the bike. How are you doing that? Tell me, please.
You have to get a decent bike, Bruce.
Very good. Touche.
Point 1, Germany.
2 world wars.
Yeah.
Right.
Where's your bike from, Bruce?
Germany. It is by the Germans. That's why it's so good. Best bike in the world.
Bruce, I will just mention, nobody's synced anybody's audio up yet. I don't know if you want to...
Oh, yeah, because are you recording at your end?
Yeah.
You are? Are you doing it as well, Andy?
Yeah, I've got several tiers just in case everything cocks up, because it always does. Or if I spill my beer into the laptop or something.
Let's sync them up. Sean, could you count to 3 and then give us 2 claps, please?
1, 2, 3.
Awesome. Andy, could you do the same?
1, 2, 3.
Any editors out there will understand completely. The rest of you will just be going, what? Right, shall we crack on with questions then? And
let's do it.
We'll go see where it takes us. Right, first off, folks, as usual, we'll start off over on Patreon. So it's patreon.com/TeapotOne. Both Sean and Andy, they have their own Patreons. I'll put links down below in the show notes and on the vid description on YouTube. First one, Andy Bowen, motorbike tourer. Can you ask Andy, would you rather buy a Super Adventure or a 1250 GS? I just want to check how gay he is. Wow. Right, we're starting off with that level on the podcast, and we'll go from there.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a trick question, is it? I want to go for mystery answer number 3, the invisible door, and say neither of them.
No, you've got to have one. Super Adventure, KTM, or BMW 1250.
Yeah, it's got to be the KTM then. It's got to be the KTM because every dick and his dog's got a GS, haven't they?
Yes. Woof. It is a good bike. Super Adventures. Yeah. Super Adventure would be my hooligan pick out the lot of them, definitely.
It's very cool. It is very cool.
A second one from Andy. Ask Sean. Oh, what? Ask Sean, I'm Andy. Okay, all right. So that was for you, Sean, not for Andy. Sean, between the Super Adventure or 1250 GS, what would you go for?
Yeah, the KTM all day.
Would you?
You've got orange
just
blood,
any
KTM
you would take over anything else?
No, but I mean, I test rode the Super Adventure before I even owned. I don't know if I went on it. No, that was when I had the 1290 GT. I took the Super Adventure out while mine was in for service. And I've been on the GS many times. I've not been on the new GS, the 1250. I've not been on that, but just for the fact that the Super Adventure's got bonkers power.
Yeah,
and
that engine's
shouldn't be that fast.
Yeah. I preferred. We've had this discussion before, I think, but I preferred the Super Adventure to the GT. Out the two of them, for me, it was a bit more raw. Yeah. You know, it's just just that extra bit more of a sort of uncontrolled. Well, not uncontrolled, because it is very easy to ride, but it just felt more of an animal than the GT did. Anyway, right, next one. Paul Partridge asks Sean to say Schnitzel. It cracks me up every time.
Schnitzel?
Also, is there a new exhaust on its way, or have I missed it? You do, don't you? I saw the Instagram.
It's on.
What's it like?
Yeah, It arrived Thursday last week, so it's on. I went out for a quick spin. I've not been able to do anything sort of long haul to see if it's annoying, but it's loud. So much so that I rode home after being out. I was only out for 20 minutes or so, and I was like, "There's no way this is legal." So I was checking the paperwork it came with. It came with an E-type approval. So I was matching the number up with the exhaust, and they sent me the wrong one for sure. And then they matched, and then I looked down the pipe, and I was like, "It's just a massive hole. There's no DP killer in it." So I emailed Austin Racing and said, "Look, is there a DP killer in it?" I said, "It just looks like a big hole in it. It's properly loud. It's a nice sound, but." Yeah. He said, "Yeah, it's all legal. It's just an internal, inbuilt, non-removable D-killer." I was like, "Oh my god, this is going to attract some attention." But it sounds amazing. And I've got friends. Awesome. I've got 3 or 4 friends that have got the same bike. One of them's got the Acura, one's got the SC Projects, another one's got the Cobra, and by far it's the best sounding on a V-twin.
Absolutely.
So Austin Racing for the win.
Austin Racing cans they've got a unique sound. And on that Super Duke, oh my God.
on the V twins, there's nothing. I mean, there's I've never had a can that's been so different or made so much of a difference in sound. You know, you get a bit of a nicer tone and it's a bit deeper, but this thing, you're like, oh my God. I opened the garage door, Mrs. came out, she's like, I could hear you miles away coming back home. I was like, oh my God, this is going to get me in the shit.
I used to have a straight through one on my Aprilia Tuono, 2014 Tuono. And we used to live in Watford at the time, North London. And I used to go out to my bike at like 4:30, 4:45 in the morning to start it. And I was just like, everyone in this city must hate me because it was so loud, that time of the morning, and you're like,
but it's an addictive sound. You just sit at the lights and just give it some it's going to get me in trouble for sure.
What have you got, Andy, on your you got the Honda, haven't you?
Yeah, I've gone back to stock now, unfortunately. I did have a MIV can on for a while, but it made it really buzzy. It made the engine vibrate too much. It was horrible. It was like buzzing to the point of numb fingers and tingly bum.
Really?
On the motorway, yeah. So I couldn't bear it. So I tried the booster plug to smooth it out, which did a bit. But yeah, no, I've gone back to stock because it seems like the fueling's too lean for a pipe that isn't really well thought out. So I need to do some research.
Yeah. Have a little flick through the catalogue and pick the next one.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and find out who's used what and who's having success with it, because it just seemed like it made a really nice smooth running bike run like a bag of spanners, and it's not what it's about, is it? No, it sounded good, but
it's a nice bike that you've got. Is that the CBR 1000, isn't it?
CB1000R, yeah.
CB1000.
A Neo Sports Cafe.
Yeah, I see. Yes.
Yeah. I've been buying tweed and all sorts to go with it. Now that I'm a hipster.
Right, next one. Bingley Wheeler, Dave. To all, can you think of one injustice for motorcyclists you'd put right if you were PM for a day in the UK? Oh, an injustice for bikers.
Well, you're going to have to answer that, Bruce.
An injustice for bikers here in the UK.
I think one of them's got to be all the 40-mile-an-hour limits in the South Downs, isn't it?
Yeah, but that's not just for bikers, is it?
Yeah, true. Very true. True.
I've always said, if I was PM, I would make one day a month purely for bikers. So there'd be one day a month when no one else is allowed on the roads except for bikers. Off you go.
Well, that'd be carnage.
It would be, but it would be proper Darwin rules, though, wouldn't it? Because after about 6 months, hopefully you'll have wheedled out the utter thunder nuggets, and we can all just have a good time.
I'm in.
You're right, sold. Paul Simpson, Simo, who's more German now? I.e., who wears mustard-coloured socks and has the worst fashion sense out of you both?
I don't wear the German clothes. Well, it's not much different, but the clothes, I buy my clothes from the UK.
All of them?
That sounds defensive, doesn't it, Andy? That sounds very defensive.
Could even be bollocks.
Yeah, I think actually, to be honest, I think we're both quite staunchly British still, which
Yeah,
I think
yeah.
for
you
Sean
never lose
particularly is
it.
pretty impressive because you've been here for friggin' ages, haven't you, mate?
Yeah, over 20 years now I've been here.
Jesus.
Blimey.
Yeah. It's almost 7 for me.
Is that all you've been there? 7 years?
Yeah, 7 years, yeah.
Wow. I do envy the way the pair of you can sort of flit in between English and German in your vids when you're chatting, where you're chatting to the viewer or you're chatting to some of the other people on intercoms who are German and stuff. I would love, obviously used to spend a lot of time in Spain. I would love to be like that fluent in Spanish, apart from like cerveza, por favor. That's about all I can do. But yeah, I do. Go on.
It's definitely a good thing to be able to do, but I definitely cannot be myself when I speak German. You can have a laugh. You can find the humour in the language, but it's a very direct. There's not a lot of slang, and a lot of the time you kind of sort of you want to keep your sense of humour how you are in English and just translate it into German. And some of them
It doesn't work, does it?
It just doesn't work.
What? And I use the English swear words in a German sentence, and they find that amusing. So that's one way to do it.
But then the couple of times I've come over and we've met up with some of there was that ride out that we had all organised. Remember that one, Sean, that we did? The one that Andy totally barred up and didn't come with us, that one?
I remember it very well.
But we met up with like a lot of people that follow you and Gaz, and some people that follow me over there. And I don't know what I'd always thought in my head Germans would be quite straight-laced, but they were funny people, really funny. The sense of humour was brilliant. How do you find it living there?
You've probably, obviously you're getting just a small taste of it, but
yeah.
I mean, I've got some good friends that are German, and they've got a sort of slightly, it's not a warped sense of humour, but a slightly different sort of more easygoing sort of sense of humour. But a lot of the time, I can't deal with it. And I'm like, sorry guys, I'm off. You guys are boring. No, that's a bit nasty. But it can be hard work sometimes. When I do miss it, and I've been here that long, and I can speak it fluently. But sometimes it is hard work. When you have friends over, or you go somewhere, sometimes you're just like, I just want to. I don't want to have to listen to this, or because you've got it when you're at home. The TV's the same, and sometimes it's hard going, and you're knackered at the end of the day sometimes. Cause, oh my god, that was hard work today. But it can be a nightmare, but we get on with it.
You take it for granted, doesn't it? It's always a bit of it's a weird breath of fresh air when suddenly you can speak English to someone and it's like, oh my god, this is so easy.
Yeah.
I suppose you must work in German as well, Andy.
Sorry,
like, you have to sing and do whatever you do.
Yeah, I've had to learn. I think probably 20, 30 German songs.
Wow.
And sing in German, which is another challenge in itself. Yeah, that's interesting.
You don't do Schlager, do you?
Yeah, do you know what I have? I have sung a bit of Helene Fischer once in a while.
Good God.
Yeah, the Germans out there will either be celebrating or burning pictures of me now.
It wasn't Atemlos, was it?
Yeah, of course it was. It's the only one.
You've lost
me.
You'll have to Google it, Bruce.
It was the unofficial song of the World Cup when Germany won, sung by Helene Fischer, who is Germany's most celebrated female Schlager artist. It's kind of like Schlager, but in German.
Right.
Yeah,
she's very easy on the eye, though, I must admit.
Oh, absolutely, yeah.
Who cares what she sounds like, then? Right. Christopher Gotthard. There seems to be a lot of beard in this gathering. My 3 favourite people on YouTube, all in one place. Cheers, Christopher. Firstly, thank you all for providing us with some top quality entertainment throughout the shittest time in memory. Our pleasure. Cheers, guys. Secondly, inline 4 or twin, which is better on the road? I have 2 inline 4s and don't find any lack of bottom end. It's a Versas 1000 and a Z900, but everyone seems to have it in for them. The only twin I test rode was a V-Strom 1000 and it was nice, but it didn't have any noticeable oomph. So inline 4 or twin?
Who's that aimed at? Who's got to answer that?
Well, it's Jenna, isn't it, I think?
Yeah, she's a general.
We need to fight about it because I think we're polar opposites. I think I would predict I'm going to say inline 4 and Sean's going to definitely go for a V-twin.
Yeah, I'd go V-twin. Or twin. Any twin.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I've really tried to love the twins because of the whole torque idea. But yeah, when I rode the BMW R9T and the Stelvio a while ago and made a video about it, which I got unbelievable amounts of shit for because I'm such an idiot. Apparently, it didn't wow me. And then the V-Strom, when I rode that, I thought that was nice, but it was a bit pedestrian. It was like tweed slippers, really comfortable, did the job, but I wouldn't want to wear it to a nightclub. And then when I rode the Ducati, I really wanted to love those as well, and was just horrified by how much they wanted to jumble my nuts around. And then jumped on the Honda and was like, yep, this is it. This is brilliant. It's an inline four with plenty of poke down the bottom end, smooth and buttery. So yeah, for me, inline four all the way.
Okay. What about you, Sean?
Interesting. Yeah, I mean, I only ever had inline fours, and then my GT, the Super Duke GT, was the first V twin. And as soon as I was on it, I thought this is mine. You know, some of the inline fours, the XR that I had, the 2016 bike, I mentioned that in previous videos, because it was so smooth, so refined, and so good. It got boring. And I just loved the fact that the V twins, especially the Super Duke, the older ones as well. I mean, you know yourself, Bruce, the new Super Duke R, that's incredibly smooth for a V twin. But I just like the fact that it shakes you about a bit. It's loud and it's a bit yes, in
Just
your
a bit
face.
of character for me.
Yeah.
The engine's got some character.
Yeah.
I'm
But
the
the new
same,
Super
like-
Duke R is super smooth. It's not
phenomenal.
it's not-
That's a phenomenal engine. That it'll rip your face off, but at the same time stroke your face, won't it? Tell you everything's all right.
and night and day difference from the GT, which is not it's not far from. But they've done so much to that bike that I don't know. They've made it pretty refined for a thumpy twin.
Yeah. So Andy, you were going to say something there, mate. I think we interrupt.
No, it's all right. I was just going to make a derogatory comment, but it's all right. I'll leave it now.
Feel free. Please do.
I was just going to say about how character is a euphemism for shit, isn't it?
Is it?
I've just put a video out today on the GS, and I titled it "Is the BMW R1250 GS the best bike in the world?" Knowing that it would be like pulling the pin on a hand grenade and chucking it into a room, and it's not disappointed. Wow, some of the comments.
Have you had some nasty ones?
Not nasty, but it's people just like vehemently defending like this bike against that bike, as you always get. It's all a laugh. Yeah. Generally, it's all a laugh, which is what it's all about. Definitely.
All right. Hope you're keeping up, boys. The first half a litre is gone.
You want? Jesus! Look, I've only got a little one.
You remember that?
Oh, it's your knob bottle opener.
Yeah. Made an appearance.
Oh, welcome back.
I did try and get a massive one on Amazon, but for some reason they've all sold out, the massive ones.
I wonder why that
Dirty
is.
bitch.
All I've got is a manly one, I'm afraid.
Oh, nice.
What is that?
Look,
Looks like a screwdriver.
What's a screwdriver
but
bottle opener?
it's also got, check this out,
Oh,
bits in it. Look at that.
That's James
So
so
Bond
actually,
shit, that.
it's a working screwdriver.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Neither
stuff.
of them. That's amazing.
Cheers, chaps.
What you got there, Andy? Is that something
still on this one.
dunkel?
This is, I've never heard of it. This is a First Karl Schlossgold.
Oh,
So what's that? Gold, Castle Gold. Not sure because I've actually got a. You might like this, Bruce. I don't think they've got these in England yet, but I've got a beer advent calendar that has got 24 doors, and in every single door is one of these.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
a different one. You get a different beer every day.
I got a Maltesers one. Why didn't I get one of them?
I got one last year as well, but some of them were like 10% beers, and
There's some hefty ones in there.
they kicked the living shit at you, and then you can only have one, and then you got to go to bed.
And then you've got to drive to work. Cool.
Yeah, you got to drive yourself to casualty and have your stomach pumped.
Right, next one. Charlie Ross. After watching Andy's last two vids, on balance, does he regret buying the CBR 1000R? Was that your 5 or 7 things you like and 7 things you hate? Or
11.
7, 5?
11 because most amps go to 10. This one's
Scottish.
one more.
11.
Yeah. 11. I bloody love it 11 times over.
That's not a bad accent.
I've been practicing.
Right, go on in. So, do you regret buying it or not?
Do you know what? I actually didn't expect to get so many people asking that exact same question in the comments, because I thought initially it would be obvious that there was, there's the devil on one shoulder and the angel on the other, because there's the love and the hate video, and I thought putting them out together would kind of, equalize everything. And then I thought the things that I talked about, they're not enough to hate a bike over. They're niggles. They're probably, because no bike can be perfect, can it? I mean, there's always the little things that we. But yeah, so in answer to the question, God no. Oh my God no. I absolutely love the shit out of that bike. It's easily the best bike I've ever had, and I'm going to keep it for a very long time.
All right. What date is it? 4th of December 2020. Andy Mancam says he's going to keep that bike for a long time. So if we come back next year and do a podcast, are you going to be on that same said bike?
I think so. I would bet this beer on it.
Having watched that though, Andy, I thought it was a nice idea to do that, sort of the love and the hate relationship between it. And I'm sort of coming up to my sort of long-term review of my bike, and I thought,
so he's going to copy you, basically.
No, but that's what I thought about. I said, I don't think I could make a video on what I don't like about it, because there isn't one thing that I can think of on that bike that I don't like.
Well, the exhaust servo is quite accessible.
Yeah, stones go fly down the exhaust, but...
Did you not have another issue with it, early doors?
No.
I thought you did. I thought there was a vid where the bike wasn't behaving very well. No.
I mean, it was due to that. The stone had probably been in there for a bit.
Is that all it was? Oh, right.
Yeah, it was after on Andy's last video where you saw we went through them roadworks. Although roadworks, in my opinion, is a road that's being worked on. There wasn't even a road. It was it was just completely dug up. And from where we went through there, probably a stone went down the pipe and jammed the servo, and it just made the electronics shit its pants. And the bike went into like a safe mode. You'll see it on the day 3 of that tour. And I had to ride it like a 125. I was changing gear every 2 seconds, and it wouldn't rev. I think it was either 4,000 or 5,000 revs it would rev to, and that was it. That was your lot.
Wow.
And there was no electronics. The traction control was gone. All the modes were gone.
There's a head coming out of your left shoulder.
What is it? She's
going, Daddy, please be quiet.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to do more of these things, but that's the main reason why I can't do them, is because I've got so many kids. My missus is at work; she's on night shift, so I've made the kids' beds downstairs on the sofa. I've given them like bags of chips and sweets, whack the telly on, fill your boots, so they don't come up here every 2 minutes. But.
Yeah.
But she was after another beer, wasn't she?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Daddy, I've finished the beer and drugs. Where's the other pills? Imagine if you turn round and gone, what kid? There is no kid there. And then they disappeared, and I'll be like, what?
Yeah.
Get out that house. Right, next one. Stephen Spencer. How much does Sean spend a year on trousers, as he seems to split the gusset on every ride?
I like a sturdy gusset, but I've burst it a few times, to be fair. I've just got myself some new swanky leathers, because I had some leathers from Lewis, mine and Andy's favourite shop, and but for some reason the trousers aren't playing game, and I've burst the gusset on them many times. So I've had to get some new ones.
Maybe get the next size up, Sean.
Yeah, they're
just saying.
They're just a bit tight in the undercarriage, and I've ripped them a few times.
Have you tried Rucker yet?
I've got a Rucker suit in.
Have you? What do you think?
Yeah, I've had them for a few years, but mine's not the laminated one. And I'm of the opinion on all suits that have got the inner Gore-Tex liner, it's good for a shower. Keeps you dry, but if it pisses it down, the outer shell gets sodden like anything else, and then you cool down, you feel cold, and you think you're wet for some reason. I get the feeling that it's all pissed through, I'm soaking wet, and then when you finish the ride, you realise you're actually dry inside. But because the outer shell gets so sodden, it gives you the feeling that you're soaking wet through. So I don't rate them for long-term use. You know, if you're riding in downpours, it's all right for a shower. But as soon as the outer shell gets soaked, you feel like you've pissed yourself.
See, mine doesn't do that at all. Like, it's bone dry.
Yeah,
Absolutely
it's new though.
bone dry.
Yours is a bit new. I mean,
good
you have
point.
to if you treat the outer shell and seal it, then it's okay. But I've got some other ones from Venusian and from Revit. I've got some jackets, and the Gore-Tex liner is the inner liner, so the outer shell gets soaked, and then you cool down. And like I said, you just feel like it's gone through, but it hasn't. It's a horrible feeling. So unless you fork out, I think like spend $1,000 on a jacket and $600 for the pants, the laminated ones, they're actually the outer shell's waterproof.
Oh, that's what I've got then. Yeah.
Have you got Gore-Tex Pro?
Yeah, Gore-Tex Pro, that's what I've got,
Yeah, then you'll be cool.
Yeah, I was going to say, it's just bone dry. It's lovely. I mean, I'd expect that, because as you said, it's bloody expensive. But I got it on the old 0% finance.
Yeah.
So it's like 70 quid a month for 2 years. Bosh, job done.
Yeah. No, the laminated ones is the way to go. If you can afford to get a laminated one, then you can ditch your watty proofs altogether.
Yeah. It's been good so far.
Yeah.
Touch wood. I don't know how good it will be in like July and August in Spain, but yeah.
I don't find it too bad. It's not.
Do you find it okay in the heat?
It's not any hotter than any other gear that you put on. I don't find. It's pretty good vented or well vented.
I'll hold you to that then, and I'll wear it when I go to Morocco.
No.
Right. Trevor Mould. How you doing, Trev? Hat, brilliant. Oh, this should be proper fun. Sorry, I thought Trevor had a question, but he's just looking forward to it. Next one, Andy Tofts. Hi guys, I'll be timing to see who starts slurring their words first. Really enjoy your videos. Which editing software do you all use, and which is the easiest, as I'm a bit of a numpty when it comes to that sort of thing. Andy, what do you use?
I use DaVinci Resolve.
Ooh, do you?
Yeah, I do, yeah. Again,
How
I'm a
is that?
hipster now. I do use DaVinci Resolve on my brown leather chair while smoking my pipe.
Whilst grinding your coffee beans.
Yeah, I mean, it's the biggest selling point of it is it's completely free, but it's pretty complicated. And if you come in at video editing without any experience, then it's an uphill struggle. I mean, luckily for me, I came at it through. First of all, I used Premiere Pro, then I went to Vegas, and then now DaVinci Resolve. I find it's great. It's got far more capabilities than I need to use really. But the fact that it's free and really good, and it's also seen. There's an irony to this, but it's seen as an industry standard for color grading.
Yes,
which obviously is a huge selling point because I'm colorblind, so that really helps me.
So how does that work in your vids then? Because your vids, well, and you, Sean, as well, I've noticed that. We were talking about production values earlier, in that you both look like you're colour grading your vids. It seems to be very uniform throughout. If you're doing it on purpose, you're doing a very good job, and if it's a total fluke, I hate you. But,
copy and paste.
yeah. Like, Andy, do you colour grade then, or
I do
you
a
just
little
go
bit.
by scopes?
Scopes mostly, which is ridiculous. It's like doing colours by flying on instruments. I can't see the colours changing, but apparently they are because these things are going up and down.
That's the thing, though, isn't it? Is the scopes give you the most detailed and proper look at the colour values. And as you said,
so you can literally match two videos' colours perfectly just by overlaying the scopes until they look right, and then apparently it works. Although I'm going to reveal a huge secret, which actually Sean put me onto, I don't know, about 6 months ago, which is a lot of the time no, not even that. Just use GoPro Color.
Right,
leave it as it is out of the camera. I've done that. I've done that probably 75% of the time over the last 6 months.
Yeah, it's minor tweaks, if any, isn't it?
The new GoPros have got real good colouring on them. Do you drop the is it the EV or the exposure? I think it's the EV. Do you drop the EV by 100 at all?
Yeah, a little bit. A couple of steps.
Yeah.
Yeah, because they tend to overexpose a bit. And what I do, I said do. I tend to go in further with ND filters and locking the ISO values and that kind of stuff. That's
to get the blur.
That's where I get exactly. That's where I get wanky, because the color stuff is kind of a little bit beyond me.
Looks good though, isn't it? It's like sometimes people notice it, and other times people won't notice that. But it is.
Yeah, we
good.
would.
Yeah,
Bruce, I noticed on your a post you put on Instagram, you have the Hero 9 as well, right?
I do, mate. Yeah.
That I found on there that the colour isn't as good as the 7 and 8 on that, but that is.
You think?
That's been changed on a new firmware upgrade, I believe. But I don't think the colour is as good. You'd have to do a bit more tweaking, I found, on the 9, but only slightly. But there is a slight sort of difference. I found the 8 and the 7 better colour.
Yeah. See, I put sort of custom profiles on the GoPros, just tweaking them.
Yeah.
Basically, to so they're not just a bog standard out the camera. They're tweaked from the off, basically.
Yeah.
What do you use then, Sean, for editing?
I use. Yeah, I was just going back to who asked the question.
Andy Tofts.
Yeah, I mean, I started with the basic. I use Filmora 10 at the moment, which is a basic. Is a software that's between the Pro and the real basic software. I started off with Filmora, and you can get Filmora Pro, and I downloaded Filmora Pro, but I just find it all very complicated, and it made my life so much harder. And then they released a sort of in-between software that you can really do some good stuff with, but it's not too complicated. So Filmora 10 is the one I use.
Oh, okay. So you two, both you two are PC people, or are you Macs or PC?
No, I'm PC.
I'm a Mac to go with my tweed underpants.
Oh, you must be, obviously, yes. You've got to be. If you're using DaVinci Resolve and going the hipster route, you've got to have a Mac. It has to be done.
Yeah.
No, but I understand what he was saying about the complexity of it all. And if you're just starting out, the last thing you want to be doing is pulling your hair out because you don't understand the software. So I sort of progressed from a basic now up to a sort of middleweight software. But I don't think I'd ever need a pro software. From what I can get done on Filmora 10 is all I need it. You need it for. So.
Yeah, definitely. How did you both learn editing then?
YouTube.
Self-taught?
Yeah, same here. Just learning by doing, trying stuff out, spending hours and hours, like Sean says, pulling my hair out, trying to figure out how shit works.
And it's all gone.
Look, it's all gone. Look at that.
Yeah, I was the same. It's literally, it was just like, you look at some videos and it's like, okay, how to speed up footage. So you Google how to speed up video footage, and then speed ramp. Oh, right, speed ramp. YouTube. What's the speed ramp? How to speed ramp, and bosh, there it is, isn't it? And then how have you done this? Google that. How do you do that? Google that. And both.
Yeah, definitely.
You get there eventually, don't you? So I use Final Cut Pro because again I'm a Mac man, and the beauty of that is it's so similar to iMovie, so that if you can work iMovie, it's not a massive leap to go to Final Cut, where it's got from the very most basic of editing processes right through to the top level DaVinci Resolve and Premiere Pro. There's some Hollywood films have been done on Final Cut apparently, but I find it a good little system. Andy, basically, mate, just live on YouTube. Just get yourself onto YouTube. There are thousands and thousands of tutorials on there about video editing, and you just.
I would advise, if you're just starting out, not to get an overly complicated pro software, because you're just going to go and then not do it. Get something easy where you can start at. Even I started off on the GoPro software, where you could just do a few cuts, a few transitions, and that's fine, just for something, family stuff or just a small vid. But
I think maybe you've got to have an appreciation as to what you can actually do with that software. Because in your head, if you're thinking, right, I want to take, I've seen Andy's vids and I want to do what Andy's done there. Well, if you go to a very basic software, there's going to be things that you're not going to be able to do on that basic software. So you kind of need to get yourself a reasonable level of software, and like, don't remortgage your house for it, but
no.
get yourself a bit of software which will do stuff, and then just sit and
it's a progressive thing. I mean, even on the basic software, I got to a point where I was thinking, I want it to do more, and it's not. So then I looked for something, and then you just upgrade to something a bit more complicated.
Right, there's the one that you've all been waiting for, man. Next question. Guess who it's from?
God. Pete.
Pete English.
Pete English. Evening, gents. Hope you're all fitting well. Question. You have just found out your family tree, and it turns out you're a distant member of the royal family, and you've been given the role of chief executioner. Who is first on the list for the chop? You never let us down, Pete. Never.
Jesus.
Oh, God.
Andy, who'd you top first?
I guess they've got to be British, really, haven't they?
No,
yeah,
God, no.
Yeah,
You're royal. We're the biggest empire in the world. We can do what we like.
Are they not German?
Well, I think if it's a worldwide audience that we're allowed to pick from, I think enemy number one's got to be Trump, hasn't it?
You'd off Trump.
That's half your American audience gone.
Oh. Yeah. I'm putting it out there, but he's just an awful example of a human being, isn't he? He is a terrible human.
He certainly has some faults. Yes.
China.
I find some of his stuff quite comical though, but it's embarrassingly funny.
It's a lot of the time I just found myself going, he didn't, did he?
Did you just say that?
Have. And then you get to a point where you're like, well, yeah, he probably did. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Wow, where do we go from
My
here?
favourites are things where somebody said to him, but you said such and such, and he said, no, I didn't. So then they've showed him video of him saying
clip.
it. And then he's gone, no, I didn't say that. And then they've just let it go.
Oh, man. I know. Mind you, I can't think of a single politician who I genuinely
deserves to die.
Yeah, well, I don't want to go that far, but who is squeaky clean, who's never said something and then denied it. But I mean, he does take it to a whole new level. Absolutely.
Hang on, I've just heard a knock at the door. NSA? Okay, I'll come with you.
Oh, sorry.
They won't knock.
Yeah, true.
Wait till you're asleep.
Bruce, you're not still on your first video, are you?
No, I'm on my second. What are you on? You're about your fifth.
Third. I've just cracked in a new one.
Oh my God, Jesus.
What
about you then?
I haven't got much time for Angie, to be honest. I think Angie would have to go.
Ms. Merkel.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I'd have all politicians up there. I don't trust any of them.
Yeah, I mean, she's well overdue, but I don't want to go into politics. They're all...
No, me either.
They're all, I don't know.
Yeah, Andy. Why'd you have to bring politics into it, Andy?
Wasn't it?
I'm sorry, lads.
No, hipster.
I'm sorry, world. I do want to just talk about my favourite craft brewery, though, before we move on.
Oh.
And show us your leather satchel.
Do you
have a new shawl?
Or your assless chaps? Oh dear.
You said leather satchel.
Wow. Who would I top? I think, gee whiz. I'm not a killer, Pete. I'm not a killer. I'm a lover, man.
Oh dear.
Estate agents. Estate agents.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, good one.
Estate agents or solicitors, one or the other. Yeah.
The spiky-haired BMW 1 Series driving pinstripe twats.
Well, to be honest, I'd probably to get rid of Angie. I'd probably go for the Gemeinde Ruddinghausen. Andy would know what I'm about. It's basically the local.
Yes, yeah.
You sound like you just burped in your throat. What was that?
The local council. I'd like to top because since this last year where he's been sort of cracking on with the house build and getting material delivered, some of the neighbours have been shitting on us to the council, and they've been knocking on our door, and people have made complaints. Yeah, there's too much building material lying about, and I made a fire the other day. I had a fire pit in the back garden, and they bloody knocked on my door again. Somebody complained that you're having a fire.
Was it on the wrong day at the wrong time when the moon was in the wrong phase?
I just think somebody was having a bad one, and I thought, I'm bored. I'm gonna shit on Sean for a couple. I'm gonna shit on that English guy that's down the corner.
Yeah,
It's pissing me off.
They were having a
Sean
bad day.
is leaning on the rules, and that's not allowed.
How dare you? Next one's Stephen Gibbons. To all of you, I love all your videos, guys. Thank you very much, Stephen.
Thanks,
Avid
Stephen.
watcher of all your stuff. Think I've seen all of your videos that you've posted. I never miss any of them. I've been riding roughly 3 years now, and I'm currently on an FJR 1300. My question is, cornering in the dry for me is no issue. Lean the bike over, no problem. In the wet, I'm terrified. I'm running Michelin Pilot Road 4s, only 1,000 miles. What would be your advice? I'm literally crawling round bends. Thanks for the advice. P.S. I'm looking into advanced lessons soon. Many thanks, chaps.
Sounds like a confidence thing, maybe. Them tyres are pretty good.
Yeah,
they
Shouldn't
are.
have trouble with them.
I'm back where you are, Stephen, to be honest, because I used to have every confidence going in my bike and corners. Didn't matter if it was in the wet or dry, didn't care, just lean the bike. Now I'm very much like you. I'm tootering round all the time. I think what really flipped it for me, going way back, was a track day. I did a track day in the pea and wet. Well, it wasn't a track day actually, it was a tyre launch. So we had to go out in the wet. It wasn't like they were going to postpone it. It's like you're going out. So we went out and we did the Silverstone Ron Haslam day on brand new. There were Bridgestone 20 BT23 tyres. This is going back 2011, I think it was. So it was peeing down with rain, and I was forced to go out onto the track, and it just showed me how much grip the tyres have got. You know, how far you can lean over, how fast you can corner, how hard you can brake, how hard you can accelerate, how quickly you can change direction. You'd be absolutely gobsmacked as to the grip. I'm talking myself into it here, into the grip that modern tyres have got. So,
that's good advice, though. I mean, to take courses, because people seem to think, because they've been riding for 30 years, that they're the bee's knees, but your driving test is the minimum requirement that you need to ride, and nobody's a rider after you pass your test. So taking courses, safety courses, track days, even stuff like I've been doing, the pit bike stuff, you learn so much. And just learning what your bike can do and what the tyres can do. As you said, you know, if you do a safety course and you get to thrash it about in the wet and see how hard you can brake your bike in the wet is the way to go.
I think as well, the biggest obstacle is how relaxed you are. Like it sounds like if you're terrified going into that bend, you've lost the battle before you started, because you need to be light and flexible on the bike. You need to be able to let the bike do its thing and move around. If you're terrified and rigid and your elbows are locked and your knees are locked and your shoulders are locked, then the bike's not going to handle in the corner. It wouldn't handle in the corner in the dry, but in the dry you're relaxed. So I think you need to, it's the toughest obstacle to overcome, I think. It's just to try and relax yourself to the point where you've got the faith in the tyres and you've got the faith in the bike enough that you can ride it like you would in the dry. Not quite in the dry, but, you know, kind of with the same level of relaxation. And unfortunately, I think there's a little bit of an element of a leap of faith there, because kind of like what you were saying, Bruce, about the track day showing you what you could achieve. You did that under the umbrella of safety of the track, in that nothing's coming the other way. If you overrun the corner, it doesn't matter. If you come off, the worst should happen. You've got lots of space to slide into, no trees and no other cars and stuff. But yeah, there's that leap of faith where you kind of almost have to just go for it a little bit and then realise, oh shit, that really does work. I can do that. The grip is there. But the problem is, the caveat here is that if you do that while you're rigid and you're tense, then it's not going to be able to do it, and you're just going to reinforce your fears. It's a horrible, vicious cycle. I think as soon as you get to the point where you've got a bit of faith and a bit of feel for the grip and the corner, and you can just relax yourself and let the bike move around. It's it all just kind of comes. It sounds really really zen and wanky, but it all just kind of comes together when you let it go and accept that there is no spoon.
Let it go, let it go.
He is a proper hipster, isn't he, Sean? He is. You've changed, Andrew. You've changed.
It is true, though. I mean, to answer his question, I would suggest doing a safety course in the wet and learning what your bike and the tyres
That's
can
because
do
you're
in the
German.
wet.
You just love courses.
Yeah. I don't do safety courses. I do track days.
Or the real
Other track days.
Track days.
No, you're totally right there, Andy. Is the key. You know, I'm not the Dalai Lama of biking here, but the key of riding a bike is being relaxed, isn't it? It's letting the bike. All you're doing is putting slight inputs. Like when it comes up to a corner, you're just pushing on the inside bar. You're just giving it a suggestion as to where you want it to go. Let the bike do its thing. Like the bike doesn't want to fall over. The bike always wants to stay vertical. So just give it a little bit of an input and let it get round that bend. And the key is knowing when to get on the power, isn't it? Because if you stay off the power too long, you're just unsettling the bike, and then it just gets all wrong. So,
and not
Sean,
shitting your pants when your bike does something unexpected. That's another bad one.
Yeah.
Watch our video in Tilgengewald. I think we both had several slippy moments on that one, and luckily we came out of it laughing and smiling
Unscathed.
and no skid marks in the pants. Although that might be because the rain washed them away. I don't know. It's very wet.
Nothing beats experience, Stephen, at all. So get out there, put miles, under your arse, so to speak, miles on the tyres, and if you can just do a track day, get a couple of track days, or go along and do refresher courses. Maybe if you want to do some advanced training, go and do them. It helps following people, doesn't it? Because if you follow somebody, if you get into your head and you just say, right, as long as you're not behind someone who's like Valentino Rossi, just a reasonable, good road rider who's not an idiot, get behind them, tell them that, what your issues are, and just follow them through some bends. And you'll be able to see when they brake, you'll be able to see when they're rolling off the throttle, rolling on the throttle. Just put it in your head, the old death or glory thing, that I'm going to go round where they go, I'll follow their line, and I'll go at their speed. That's why I'm saying don't follow a dickhead. Follow someone that knows what you're trying to do so that they are not going round at Mach 9. Do you know what I mean? But that I find that a big confidence boost. If I get in my head that, okay, if Sean's going round this bend, then I'm just going to match his speed. If he gets round, I go round. And once you do that a few times, you'll realise, the bike does it. The tyres will do this. And that will just make you calmer and calmer and calmer and more confident. And it'll just go from there.
Roger
I
that.
hope I've not just talked you into crashing. What were you saying, Sean?
Sorry, what?
I thought you were going to say something.
No.
All right, okay. Right, next one. Matt Rowe Designs.
Matt's in the house.
He did your logo, didn't he?
Yeah.
I just wanted to say, Sean, I hope you like your new logo design. I think it looks ace.
Plug.
And Andy, you've done an amazing job on yours. Hats off to you. Teapot, your Patreon one also looks good too, but the sticker needs to be a wee bit smaller. Matt did my clan sticker.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Lovely chat.
Always gets a
lovely
shout
chat.
out, don't you, Matt? Next one, Mike Phillipson. Bruce lives in England and you both reside in Germany. Forget work and all the commitments your current lives have. Where would you all love to live? Ooh.
I'd move down to Italy.
Would you? Why is that?
Just because of the Alps.
You're right. Northern Italy.
Yeah, fair enough.
Südtirol. That'd do me. Or even anywhere down there, but the Italians are a bit more friendlier than the rest. But yeah. Lovely place.
What about you, Andy?
I think kind of that sort of area. I think maybe leaning slightly. I don't know. I've got a bit of a romantic notion that Spain would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
Just because there was a bit of a journey we had, me and the missus. We were in Greece on a holiday that we thought was never going to happen because we booked it last year. And then amazingly, everything came together, the moons aligned, and we got to have this holiday. And incredibly, the island we went to Crete for 2 weeks rather. And the place was half empty because nobody was there. Mm-hmm. And we had this amazing experience, and we were saying, like, what could we do to extend this holiday forever? Where could we live? And we started looking at flats around Granada, on the edge of the Sierra Nevada in Spain.
Yeah.
And we found a 2-bedroom flat that we could rent in this little town for €300 a month.
Wow.
And it was a stone's throw from the Sierra Nevada, so that I could go out in the morning, ride the length and breadth of the Sierra Nevada and be home for dinner. And I just got really excited about the idea of that. So yeah, I think at the moment I would really like the idea of living in Spain. In southern Spain, so kind of Andalusia kind of area. Andalusia.
Andalusia. Yeah, Spain's it for me as well. And I think I'm the same. I'd go for southern Spain purely because it's got the weather all year round. You know, up in the north, I love the Picos and the Pyrenees, but come sort of November to April time, it's, you know, there's skiing up there. So whereas down in the south, it's still 20 degrees. So
see, I like that though. I mean, riding bikes in the summer, skiing in the winter. That'd be me done. I wouldn't have to do a thing after that.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
I'd be entertained.
You've done Slovenia, haven't you, Andy? Oh, no,
I went through it. I went through it very briefly on the way to Croatia.
Yes, you did the. What's the coast called? That coast in Croatia.
What is the coast called?
I've forgotten the name of it.
Good question.
It's one of the first vids I ever saw was your series you did along there.
That was amazing. It was absolutely stunning. The coast of Croatia just goes on and on and on. It was unbelievable. It was like the Pacific Coastal Highway in America, but it seemed like it was longer and it seemed like it was more bendy.
Yeah. I've got a vid series to come. I was down in Slovenia with Canary Moto Tours. They've got a Slovenian wing, so I was doing stuff there with them, and we did a day down into Croatia and right near Bosnia and all around there, and I loved it. Like some of the roads in Croatia were fantastic. The roads in Slovenia were amazing. You know, some of the mountain roads, places were awesome. Then we went up and did a bit of Austria, northern Italy as well. Oh, it was lovely. Proper bikers playground. It's a
lovely area, isn't it? It is beautiful. Yeah. Well, I wish we'd had more time for Slovenia. We unfortunately, because it's like what always happens, everything got delayed, the timetable dragged on, and when we got to Slovenia, it was already dark. Yeah. And we actually rode down a mountain as we crossed over from Austria into Slovenia on this really eerie, tree-lined, bendy road in the dark with the mist rolling in over the edges of it. It was really creepy. It was like something out of a horror film.
It's not the really steep one with proper zigzag bends that in the bends are cobbled. Wasn't that one, was it? I can't remember the name of it. It's a really famous one between Slovenia and Austria, I think it is, or maybe it's Slovenia and Italy. I can't remember.
The Tremola.
What's it called?
The Tremola.
Might be that.
But that doesn't border from Slovenia. That's from Austria into Italy. Okay. Well, no, it's even Italy. Yeah, towards Switzerland, the Tremola. That's the
won't be that one then. It's not that one. But it is quite a famous one because I remember I put a couple of pictures up about it, and people are like, "Oh yeah, you know, that's one of the must-ride roads." So I need to edit that series. Actually, I've got to get my finger up my bum. Right, right. Cheers to that, Mike. Jock Tate. Me and my missus both ride our own bikes. Do any of your other halves have any inclination to get their own licences or bikes? Any of you?
Not mine. Not mine. My missus has got absolutely zero interest. No single fibre of her body wants to get on a motorbike.
She's never gone pillion on the bike?
No, obviously. Never. She's got no helmet, no gloves, nothing. But most importantly of all, she's got no real desire to. I mean, I can kind of understand it a bit because she's quite petite. She's I think she's 5'4", and I'm 6'4".
Because you're about 6'9".
when I'm stooping and I haven't got my boots on.
Yeah, my missus did her CBT, but then never did anything about it after it, so that's all expired now. But she's come out a few times on the back. She used to come out on the back of the Gixxer a couple of times. Like if we were going to the cinema, she would jump on the back. Hated it. And then now, since I've got the tractor, she prefers coming out on the back of the GS, funnily enough. But she's not a massive fan of it. What about you, Sean?
Yeah, my missus, she biffed a blimmin' theory test years ago.
Oh, no.
She was doing her lessons and she failed a theory test and then just didn't bother to carry it on. So
Yeah.
I mean, in Germany, in them, I think you can do it now. You do your bike and your car together. So she was doing a car license at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
She was enjoying biking. She thought she could actually ride better than she could drive a car. But then she failed a theory test and didn't bother then pursuing it. Carried on with her car test and then just forgot about it. But I've had her on the back a few times. She's got her own gear and that, but she hasn't been on the back at all. I mean, or much, maybe 5-6 times. But I did take her once when I proposed to her. I took her on the back of my bike down to Mersey and I proposed to her on the bloody dam. Put a bottle of champagne in the panniers and then we just sat on the side of the blimmin' Mersey and I popped the question.
You old romantic, you. You old romantic.
And that was probably the last time. Yeah, that was the last time she came on it, and that was about 7-8 years ago.
Blimey.
But yeah, she's got no interest.
How would you feel about it if they turn? Give me 2 ticks here because I'm just noticing the counter on my camera isn't moving. Give me 2 seconds.
Are you on a GoPro, Bruce?
I am, yeah. Funnily enough,
it's because
you've just gone over an hour.
We're over an hour.
No, it's on 38 minutes 16 seconds.
Oh dear.
And it's because I've been looking at it going, I'm sure we've been on here longer than that.
Mine says an hour and 4 minutes.
GoPro's
okay. That is still recording. Yeah, I know. I tell you what though, you mentioned the 9. The 9 for me has been faultless so far. Absolutely faultless. Loved it. But I know TMS had a few issues.
There's no software bugs so far, but yeah, it's been brilliant.
TMS had a couple of issues, he says.
Let me see.
Oh yeah, sorry. You count to 3 again for us.
1, 2, 3.
Excellent. I'll do the same. 1, 2, 3. Bosh. Sorry about that, folks. Slight technical issue. GoPros. Hey.
Bruce turned my pissing camera off.
Yeah. How would you feel then if your other halves turned round and went, I think I'm going to get into biking. I think I'm going to go and do my test and get a bike. And I want to come out riding with you. How would you feel?
So it's a bit of a tough one, isn't it?
Yeah.
I feel like I would probably be a bit of a massive hypocrite because I'm always saying to her, yeah, don't worry, I ride safe, I ride careful, I'm always in control, blah blah blah.
Oops.
And then as soon as she's out on a bike, I'm going to be going, where are you going? What are you doing? Why are you riding there? Don't go too fast. I mean, why are you riding when it's dark? It's too cold, isn't it? And the roads are wet.
Yeah, no, I get you there. Yeah. So for me, it would be. There's definitely times when I think, Nikki would love this. You know, it'd be great if she was here to be part of some of the journeys and the adventures you go on. But there's other times when you're just like, you know, that's the saviour of biking is that you can just bugger off, can't you? You know what I mean? It's like
it's time.
your time.
Yeah, it's time for you. It's time for you.
It's time for you with your mates and.
Yeah. I mean, my missus is pretty good with it all. I get to ride a lot and she doesn't complain. So in that respect, it's not like, you know, if she rode that you could say, well, I'd get to ride more if the missus got a bike. But I would like to sort of share a few trips with the missus, just as two. But, you know, riding with the lads or doing your own sort of stuff, you need to be the best of both worlds, I think. But
yeah, and who's to say that, you know, she wouldn't want to do her own thing on a bike as well? And, you know, she's bound to make...
that's not allowed.
She's bound to make her own little group of bikey mates as well. And what if she decides she wants to go away with the lads on a biking trip? You can stay at home, look after the kids. Okay. That'll backfire.
No, predominantly, I think it'd be a good thing, and I don't think she would never get to the point that I'm at. You know, we're all pretty biking mad, I would say.
Don't restrict your woman, Sean.
Yeah. I don't think she'd ever get to the level of I don't know, what would you call it? Enthusiasm.
Geekery?
Yeah.
Dickery.
No, I mean...
Childishness?
Yeah, I definitely wouldn't be able to be commsed up with the wife and say the stuff I normally say. When
Yeah, that's a valid point. That is a valid point. Mind you, Mrs. Teapot is a copper, so she's used to that sort of rugby team mentality.
Okay, that's cool.
Like we'd be driving round at work, like going to and from different places that we worked at, and my wife would put up the spots for people. You know, she'd put up spots for the other girls, but she'd also put up spots for the blokes as well. So, you know. Yeah.
Okay.
Good girl.
No,
yeah, I reckon as well. I think it'd be quite good with my missus because she's bloody funny. She's hilarious, and she's I think she's not a copper or anything, but she's it was the thing that drew me to her in the very beginning was I remember on our first date she took the piss out of me relentlessly.
Yeah, but that's easily done though, Andy.
Well, I do give people a lot of ammo, sadly. But yeah. But the thing is that we were fresh, we'd only just met each other, and she was like, fuck it, I'm having it. This guy's getting ribbed big time. So I think her on comms would be golden. It'd be absolutely brilliant. And she gets as good as she gets as well. Yeah, I've been trying, mate. I've been trying. I desperately want to, but she's not so keen.
She's having none of it.
Right, next one. Where are we? Ashley Wright. Hang on. No, sorry. Stephen Gibbons. Second question. Is it possible to have some videos on riding techniques to help people? I think Stephen the chap that asked about cornering in tyres? Yes. So Stephen was the chap that was asking about advice for cornering in the wet and all this sort of stuff. So he said, second question, is it possible to have some videos on riding techniques to help people? As all of your videos, you all seem to ride very differently, and what you do in certain corners, braking, wet weather, etc. Much appreciated. So what you would do. Well, I've done a couple, Steve. I did some stuff with the IAM, so I've done a couple of vids with them. That was just trying to promote the IAM to people, that's all. But the fundamentals in there are what I would suggest any sort of safer riding organisation is gonna promote. So it's things like reading the limit points in bends, positioning in the road, getting the right speed for the corner, not going so fast that you can't react to any hazard that presents itself. It's they're all based along the same lines. But is that something you lads would do?
Whether I'd include something like that in the channel, probably not. You'd have to.
Yeah, it's something I thought about a couple of times, but then I always kind of retract from it because I just worry about sounding like the preachy. Look how great I am on my bike, and I can teach you all how to be as good as me. I hate that idea of being such a puffed up chest wanker that I can go. You should all ride like I do because I'm fucking brilliant.
The whole thing about biking is it's very individual, isn't it? It's a very what's the word? Like you can be out riding with a group of mates, but you're still in your own little solitary bubble. And just because you ride a certain way doesn't mean to say the next rider will benefit from riding that way. We've all got our own way of riding, haven't we? We've all got our own
of course.
You know, our own style and our own braking style, acceleration style. Everyone's unique, I think.
And we all do different things as well. I think that make us feel comfortable and make us feel happy. Like I copped loads of flack on the FZ1 that I hung off it too much. It was like I was always riding the MotoGP, even though I was just going round a mini roundabout in town. I was like trying to get my knee down. But it was always for me that always just made me feel like the bike was balanced because my weight's in the middle of the turn, and I just feel like I'm making the tripod. I'm locked in. And that's what made me happy and made me feel comfortable in the corners. Yeah. Well, normally I make the tripod differently, but on a bike, logistically it's difficult.
Definitely not what she said.
I mean, predominantly we're all just normal riders like everybody else. We probably ride probably more than the average rider, but for me to then stand in front of a camera and to say this is how you do this and this is how you do that. Unless you're some sort of instructor or you're some racer where you've got the stature to then be able to do that and pull it off. Yeah. Like Andy said, everybody, if we did it, it'd be like, who's this wanker here? What does he know?
But then I think as long as you don't do it in a preachy way, and you do it in the sort of format of your own channel, your own personality. So it's got to be you've got to have a bit of tongue in cheek in there, and you've got to have some humour. Surely. Yeah. It's like when I've done stuff with the IAM, do you know what the IAM is? Do you know Institute of Advanced Motorists? They must have a similar thing in Germany, and it's sort of stereotyped. Everyone's on GS's, everyone's got a high-vis jacket with a beard, and everybody speaks like this. We're all going to do it like this, and it's, that's how you do this. 59 miles an hour is perfectly okay. You don't need to do 60. And it's got that sort of reputation. But it's quite good because the guy from the IAM who did the videos and stuff with me, they're trying to appeal to a new audience. They're trying to appeal to... This isn't a plug for the IM. I don't mean it to turn into a plug for the IM. But they're trying to appeal to a new audience of people who perhaps they're maybe not going to ingratiate themselves into the whole IAM thing where they turn up at the club meetings every month and... Oh, what's your favourite road sign and all this sort of stuff? But they'll come along and they will... they'll come along and they'll do the sort of training with them and hopefully... improve their riding in terms of the ability to read the road and the ability to plan and their hazard perception maybe, which will make them safer riders, but safer riders for the way they ride. So if they do like to crack on, then by all means, everyone likes cracking on a bike, don't they? But if you can maybe in the back of your mind have that thing about positioning the road to get the maximum vision round there, all that sort of stuff, it's just... It is, as you said, it is a difficult one because you don't want to be that anal twat by any stretch. I think
if I was to do it at all, I'd probably want to document it from the start of learning a technique and say, look how shit I was at the start, and I've self-taught myself to do this or whatever. I mean, years ago, I taught myself how to do clutch-up wheelies on my 600 CBF Honda, and it was and if I had that on camera... I would love to say, look, this is what I started with. This is how shit I was, and I've taught myself, progressive. And you've gone up to these different bikes, but now, because I've bought bonkers bikes, I shit myself every time. You do one. So that'd be something I'd like to do. But to be able to show your own progression of learning a skill. From start to finish, I think that would be interesting. But for me to just stand there and say this is how you do a wheelie or this is how you do get your knee down, whatever, that wouldn't be for me. I don't think.
Yeah. Well, maybe what something that could work would just be like saying, coming back to something you said ages ago, Bruce, about how you should just follow somebody else. I mean, maybe there's some room to do a video talking about things that we've learnt from other people, and like another thing that you mentioned with the road positioning. I learnt a lot of my road positioning from following my stepdad Ian on a lot of the tours that we've been on, because he's done the same advanced training stuff that you've done, Bruce, and a lot of just following what he does and following the lines that he's taken has meant that I'd like to think that my road positioning is relatively good now. And I don't know. Yeah, maybe we could talk about something like that in a video, but that's a bit further away from the whole. This is how you do a corner, and this is how much pressure you need to have on the handlebars, and I'm now leaning at 37 degrees.
Yeah, like none of us want to come across as that wanker. Do we? Let's be fair. None of us are like that, and our channels are not like that. And I think our sort of respective communities, because we've all got huge overlap. People that follow my channel will follow your channels, and vice versa. And people don't tune in for that, do they? At the end of the day, but to the same extent, there are people like Stephen who are new to biking and want to learn, and they want to.
They would probably appreciate it as well.
Yeah, so I think there's definitely scope for it, but it's murky water, isn't it? Because you don't want to hack off the rest of your community who ride perfectly well and don't need any of that. So
let's do a 2021 track day together and invite.
Oh, that'd be good. Yeah.
do you know that would be mint, wouldn't it? If we were to do
Yeah.
something like that, I'd be up for that. Definitely.
Yeah.
Get on the blower to no limits. We'll sort that out. That'd be awesome. In Spain.
Oh yeah. No. Let's go. Yeah, Jerez or Portimao in Portugal. Oh, that's supposed to be a good circuit.
Boys,
If it's south of the Spanish border, I'm in.
Sold. Yes, let's do it. So
We'll
if
have to
anyone
get-
owns a racing circuit out there or a track day company and you're up for it, drop us a line. Cheers.
I'm just gonna have to go for a little tinkle.
What? See, you can drink all the beer, but you can't hold it in, can you? Typical.
Well, no, there's only so much room.
Yeah,
I've been using my camelback in reverse.
I'm just swamping under the desk. It doesn't bother me.
I was just about to say that, Bruce. Back in the day in the military, I'd have just pissed under my table on somebody's shoes.
Right, you go and we'll talk about you, Sean.
All right then.
Yeah.
So, Andy, why do you like your mate? What is it you like about him?
I thought he was with you.
I don't know him.
Oh, bloody hell. Yeah, no idea. Well, I just kind of went along with it, mate.
You seem a bit down, mate. Are you all right?
Down?
Not that you can share your innermost, deepest feelings with whoever's listening. But
No, I'm just just taking it easy, keeping it on the.
Oh, that's like a baby's arm.
What's he saying?
He said there's like a baby's arm. Holding an apple.
Well, funnily enough, the next question from Ashley Wright: bratwurst or frikadellen?
What's do you know what? This is a tough one for me. I was hoping this wasn't going to come up, but as I mentioned to you, I'm not eating meat anymore, so neither.
Oh yeah, you've gone veggie, haven't you?
Yeah,
Now,
I have, yeah.
Are you vegetarian or vegan?
No, vegetarian. I can't leave the cheese. Just can't do it.
You like a bit of cheese.
I do like a bit of cheese.
What brought that on then? Do tell.
Do you know what? I feel a bit like this is just going to add more fuel to the hipster wanker fire. But I watched a film on Netflix called Game Changers.
Okay.
Oddly, which was actually produced by Jackie Chan and Arnold Schwarzenegger. Mm-hmm. And it outlines all of the health reasons why meat is a terrible, terrible thing for our bodies. And I was on the way. I mean, this has got nothing to do with it. I was on the way to the UK at Christmas time to a funeral, and I flew over and I watched the film on the plane when I was going on the way over there. And I landed and I immediately phoned my missus up and just went, "I don't eat meat anymore." So that's it. It's over. I'm not eating meat anymore.
Wow.
Just got the film it convinced me so much that it's a terrible, terrible idea. And
so, how long have you been weak then?
Since January, so nearly a year.
Wow, good effort.
Almost a year.
He buckled on our tours, though. He buckled.
Yeah. I've buckled down again. I mean, I'm not saying it's like a religion. I didn't sign anything. But
You
yeah,
said.
I would. Yeah, I think I've buckled probably maybe 4 times in the whole year, and even then, that's not buckled. It was more like I looked at a menu in a place and was like, well, the
Smashed a
vegetarian
dirty
options are
great burger
shit.
in your face.
Bacon.
Yeah.
Bacon does it for me. Bacon.
Yeah. But on the whole, to be honest, I haven't really missed it. Haven't missed it at all.
Have you not?
I've still got beer, so it's all good.
Good point. What about you,
Yeah, see,
Sean?
I
Are you vegetarian or are you normal?
Fuck no. No, I don't think I could do it that way. But I gave up the beer for.
What?
I didn't
A day?
drink. I
2
didn't
days?
drink. I didn't drink the whole of October, and the first beer. So that was 4 weeks, and then first beer I had was on the 18th of November on my birthday. So nearly, what's that? 4, 5, 6, 7 weeks nearly. I didn't touch a drop of alcohol. Not just. I mean, I don't drink anything else apart from beer, but I've definitely been kicking the arse out of it since the sort of lockdown sort of March.
You and the rest of the planet, mate.
Yeah, I mean, who wasn't? But it got to the point, I was drinking every day, and I'd happily. I mean, I like beer, and I can drink a beer. I can drink 5 or 6 a day after work. A couple for dinner, a couple in the evening, and then you
One or
meet
two
up
for
with-
breakfast.
Yeah.
But you didn't have a problem. You were all right. Everyone does
No,
that.
but it was the only time I've ever stopped at all, and I was buying alcohol-free beer, which I've never done in my life, and I was like, oh my god, something's happened to me here, and I found it quite difficult not to drink. I was like, oh my god, this is bad. Okay, I'm gonna keep going with this and see what happens. So, yeah, and up until now, I mean, I've totally left it out in the weeks now. So from my birthday, I had a beer, or a couple, or a half a crate, and then I've left it out for the week during the week, and then just have a few on the weekends because I really have been kicking the nuts off it. So
I genuinely only drink on occasion, and since I just started the podcast, it's been every week when I do the podcast, I'd have 3 or 4 cans for it. But then obviously I got pancreatitis, didn't I, a few months ago, so. I was told don't drink at all until we know what's going on here. Yeah. I think they thought I was an alky, and well, because pancreatitis is common amongst alcoholics. So I think he just thought, you're fat and you're Scottish, you must drink a lot, and I don't. So
well, maybe I've got that to come.
So last week, I hope not, mate. It's bloody painful. Last week, I had a beer for the first time in about 3 months. And like I said, I had 3 beers with Pete English on the podcast. And I remember the end of the podcast, but I remember going downstairs to my missus and going, I'm shit-faced. And then I woke up on the couch at like 7 o'clock the following morning. So.
Yeah, magic.
Yeah, all good.
I mean, with me, obviously you start drinking, I don't know, beer, 13, 14, 15, you start to get sort of a few times you're off your tits. And then I joined the military at 16, which is the most professional drinking team you could ever... You could ever join.
Metropolitan Police, I think you'll find.
No.
They're professional alcoholics.
We'd kick your asses. Yeah, from 16 I left at 27 and just sort of carried on the motions after that. Yeah. Not to the extent we did, but it was a lot from a very young age.
But now you're older, you're more mature, you're a family man, you're respectable. You're a father.
I've toned it down.
Just never touches rock and roll. Sean, you missed a question from Ashley. Ashley, right? Bratwurst or frikadellen?
Frikadelle or bratty?
What's frikadellen? What's that?
It's like a meatball.
It's like a big burger.
Big burger meatball type of. It's much thicker than it. It's about that thick. Thicker than a burger. Same sort of size, diameter.
Wow.
But it's like a big meatball.
Oh, I see. Sold.
Which is
baseball.
Which is equally good. You wouldn't want to just stuff your face with sausage all day, so you could have a meatball in between.
If you're sick of the sausage, get some balls.
Yeah.
Oh, so much I could say. So which would you be? Would you go for the sausage or the ball then? Which one?
I'd go sausage.
You're a sausage man, are you? This is a trailer. We've got the trailer.
Whoopsie.
And the second question from Ashley: who's got the best bike between you all? Well, obviously, I've got the GS, the best bike in the world.
Well, Bruce is definitely fucking last.
I'll put my hand up here. Sorry, Andy. I'll put my hand up here. Sean's got the best bike. Gen 3 Super Adventure. Super Adventure. Gen 3 Super Duke.
Well, I think Sean's definitely got the best bike from Europe.
Fair dues. Fair dues.
Right.
Although to be honest, I think if we were to compare them side by side, Sean's definitely got the best bike. It's got the most toys, it's got the most gubbins, it's got the most power, it's got the most.
It's the bike that'll put the biggest smile on your face.
Yeah, it could be.
Definitely.
Yeah.
If we meet up next year, Andy, for a tour or something, we'll have to do a bike swappage or something. That'd be quite funny.
Yeah, definitely. I'm well up for that.
Wow.
Right. Next one, Chris Murphy. Guten Abend. Ich kenne es kaum. I haven't read this. Wow, it's all in German. Okay, so I don't speak German, funnily enough, and I don't read it, but I'll do my best. Guten Abend. Ich kann es kaum warten, Bruce Geist zu sehen, das versucht, das zu lesen. Wenn kein Deutsch kann, werde ich mir ein komplett... it's one of those funny O's with the 2 dits above it. What's that? How do you say that?
An
Mös anzuhören. So, what's he said?
I think what he said. Yeah.
He can't wait.
Go on.
I don't know. Send us a screenshot, Bruce.
How do I do that?
I think he said he can't wait to see your face when you try and read this out, even though you don't speak any German.
Yeah.
That's quite clever, Chris. Quite clever. Okay, we'll leave it at that then. Next one. No usernames
It was a good
left.
face.
Yeah, thanks. That was my really concentrating face. No usernames left. My question is, would you rather have sex with a goat and nobody finds out, or not have sex with a goat but everyone thinks you did? See, this is the calibre of my Patreon community.
I love that channel name. What was the channel name? No usernames left. That is fucking genius.
It's genius, isn't it? Every time I see it, I think it's username Kate. But it's not. No usernames left, yeah. So,
could you repeat the question? It's something about shagging goats.
Would you rather shag a goat and nobody find out, or not shag the goat but everyone thinks you did?
I would answer that question with a question. Is the goat hot?
What's a hot goat? How do you qualify a hot goat, Andy?
Well, I don't want to go into that because I'll get accused of goat shaming.
Have you ever seen the state of the back end of a goat? Not fucking nice.
Funnily enough, no, Sean, but you obviously have.
It's covered in
Only
shit.
in nightmares.
Yeah. What did you do in the military?
Was a goat groomer.
Is anyone going to answer this question?
So shag one and nobody find out, or not shag one and people...
Well, it's got to be shag the goat and nobody find out then, isn't it? Because I'd rather no one found out about it than people think I did.
I think I'm quite
I'm the other way.
I'm quite a moral person, and I think I could ignore the. I could ignore people thinking that I shagged a goat and know that I never did it.
What? So you'd rather people thought you shagged the goat, but not have actually done it, as opposed to no one ever thinks you have, but you have done it.
There's worse things they could think that I've done.
Well, you're gonna be mentally broken if you had shagged it and nobody knows, but you know that, and you'd be like,
it's not any different to a sheep. I'm Scottish, it's expected. That's what you do. And I'm from Aberdeen, so you know.
I don't think the back end of a sheep's any better, Bruce.
I genuinely don't know. I do not worry livestock. I'll tell you that now. That's interesting. That's interesting where we differ. It's interesting where we differ.
I'd rather not shag one, thanks.
Yeah, but I wouldn't want people thinking I am a goat shagger. Although everyone now plainly is going to think, because I've just said I would. So
irony there.
But anybody knows me knows that I don't give a two shits what people think about me.
God, cheers to that. No usernames. David Hemmings. Yeah, David Hemmings. Draw a discreet vial over that one. Dave Hemmings. To you both, so it's you two. What's your favourite country to tour in?
Well, if it wasn't for the shitty speed limits, I'd say Switzerland.
Yeah, I'd lean towards that as well, I think.
But because of the speed limits, I'd probably go, Italy, Südtirol.
Yeah.
Do you know what, based on the events of the last year, I'd be almost tempted to say Germany.
What?
Just because there's just so much here.
I get that.
So much.
Without the sort of Alps mountainous region, I mean, there are obviously mountainous regions in Germany.
Yeah, of course, but like you said, the speed limits are a bit frustrating. I mean, I've never really had much of a problem with the speed limits because the best bits are so twisty that you can't go very fast anyway.
Yeah, nobody's up there on the mountains. You get hammered, further down. It's not really debatable, but
yeah.
Yeah.
But what about all these sort of restrictions then in Germany? because you guys have spoken about them before, and I've had lots of people commenting about them on various social platforms about the sort of increasing amount of restrictions that are being brought in against the biker in Germany.
It's not that bad. I mean, obviously there was the new law, or the new laws that were coming out to ban bikers altogether on weekends and bank holidays. But I think that's sort of, we don't hear about it much now. I mean, there's been more road closures, but I mean, although on our videos we put a lot of that in the video, in the content, roadblocks, road closures, but to sort of probably add to the comedy value of it. And it probably looks worse than what it is, I think. And when you do plan your routes, you can look on Google Maps and they tell you where they all are, and it's not that bad. Yeah, it's not that bad. We make it probably sound worse than what it is, but I don't know. It's so big and there's so many places to go that you can avoid the odd one or two closures. It's nothing too horrendous. It is becoming more, for sure. But I've not, since bloody Corona's kicked off, we've not heard anything. I haven't heard anything more about it, but yeah.
I think the thing about it that gets on my tits the most is just I think this is comes back to what I said at the beginning about how I'm still quite staunchly British. Is this idea that like Sean says, the road close. It's not like they're closing all the roads to bikers. I mean, they want to on the weekends, but hopefully that will never happen. And thankfully, the transport minister is actually a biker himself, so hopefully that's got a little bit of ammunition for us. But yeah, the thing that gets on my nerves the most is the fact that they can take a section of the road users and say, you now can't use this piece of road, which I think is hugely unjust. I think that's a massive just a miscarriage of the power that they've got, because why should they have the right to ban a certain section of the road users and not the others? It should be everybody's banned or nobody's banned, or we will just police these roads better and weed out the single individuals that are making a bad name for the bikers, because most of us are boring twats that just want to potter around at 50 miles an hour and do nothing.
Yes, Sean.
Ooh.
With your loud exhaust and your hooligan bike.
I almost never really kick the arse out of the speed limit.
We don't cane it.
No, and
I have
on
ridden over
last
there
couple
with
of tours,
both
we've
of
had a
you.
couple
You're
of
aware
quiet
of this.
bikes. Sorry?
You do know this, don't you? I've ridden in Germany with you two.
Yeah, but I mean, here the fine, you get warning fines here. So as long as you're doing, so if you're doing, it was 100 k an hour limit. If you're doing 120, you're just going to get a small fine for that. So you can go up to 120.
I do love that about there. Yeah.
If you're 30 over the limit, then the small fines dwindle away, and you get like a month ban and a heftier fine. But
even that's great. Just it's a temporary ban. That's a great. In the UK, it's like, if you're on a 30 and you're doing 33, 34 miles an hour in the 30, you get 3 points. For that.
It's points, right? Yeah.
3 points straight away. Bang.
And it affects your insurance, which it doesn't in Germany.
Massively. Yeah.
You just pay 20 euros for that here.
I got flashed in the car a couple of weeks ago.
Lucky you, Sean. Was that you again?
Oh. Yeah. Showed me his bratwurst, his frikadellen. Yeah, I got flashed doing, I think I was doing 10 over. It was 15 euros. It was just like, don't do it again.
Yeah.
It was annoying, but
I'll take that back. I'm coming to Germany. Right.
But going back to what Andy said, I mean, with the discriminating or road closures for certain sort of sectors of the motor industry, if putting a 100k speed limit on a road for cars and then reducing it to 70 just for bikers,
that sickens me. It really does.
Because it's an area where people cream in every weekend, and they to say, okay, well, bikers can now only do 70 because everybody crashes here all the time. That's shit. That is shit.
Yeah, absolutely.
You do one speed limit for all or none at all. So it's that is annoying. But I've not seen too much of it, to be honest. But yeah, it depends where you go. But the country is itself. There's so much to go back to what we were saying before. Germany itself is amazing to ride. from
It's
sort
stunning.
of
Like, you could literally,
Hanover South is all amazing.
I was looking at the map the other day, and like you can go from the. Oh,
Who's that? Someone's camera's gone beep, beep, beep.
That was mine.
oh no!
Oh, sorry.
back on.
I'm going to do that again. No, you need to say 1, 2, 3 first.
1, 2, 3.
Thank you.
Sehr gut.
Very good.
Yeah, but you can ride from like the border with the Netherlands or Luxembourg all the way across Germany and never have to go on a straight piece of road until you reach the Czech Republic. It's insane. It's just so much incredible riding in this place.
Yeah.
I
did used to love my time there.
Unsung biker's paradise. I mean, yeah, there's the restrictions, but I mean, again, if you go riding in Germany in the week, forget about the restrictions. They don't count anymore.
So it's purely just weekend, really, to stop the masses.
Yeah, absolutely, exactly.
Right.
Yeah, and I think the main driver of it is people in their gardens having a barbecue. They don't want to hear this constantly going past their house.
That's why you don't want an inline 4. You want an engine with character, so people listen to it.
Yeah, true. So it just goes by going bob 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 bob.
That's
a GS doing 4,000 miles an hour. Bob 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 bob.
You can't do 4,000 miles an hour.
Right, next one. Martin Rowe. You're right, Sean. You're looking a bit lost.
I'm running low on beer.
My God, look, it's like a bottle bank behind you.
Can you see them?
Yeah. 8 gallons of dishwater beer. Wow. Right, Martin Rowe. This is for Andy Mancam. I passed my full licence in March before lockdown. My question is, I am riding an SV650 and looking at 1000cc in the near future. Is there much difference between throttle response? I know power is much different and I must treat it with respect. So, between an SV650 and an SV 1000cc, is there much difference in the throttle response of those bikes?
I couldn't honestly say. I've never ridden either of them, unfortunately.
Why is he identified you for this then?
Yeah, I don't know. I have heard lots of people say that the SV6. Well, I think maybe because of there's been lots of SV650 users commenting on my booster plug videos, and apparently they're really snatchy and horrible, and the booster plug does a good job of fixing that.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I think, unfortunately, between every brand and every model, you just have to try it. I think the throttle response, you'll see very immediately if it works for you or if it doesn't. Some of them, I mean, just because the 650 is quite snatchy, maybe the 1000 is wonderful. Unfortunately, having never ridden one, I couldn't honestly say, I'm afraid.
What about you, Sean? Have you ever ridden them? SV1000? No, I've not. No.
Maybe they're confusing. They're confusing with Andy's older bike, or not? What did you have?
Maybe the Versus.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the difference between the Versus 650 and the 1000 was night and day. The 1000 was much smoother.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, that could be it. But yeah, unfortunately, I'm sorry, I've never ridden an SV650. Although there's a funny story, because when I was first dreaming of getting my bike license, I used to love the idea of having a Ducati Monster, and then saw that they were horribly expensive, terribly unreliable, and I couldn't imagine that. And then I realised that the SV650 had the similar kind of trellis frame look with the tank on top. It was almost like a poor man's Monster. I've upset a lot of people saying that now.
Have you seen the new Monster that's coming out?
I was just
the
about to
lightweight
say,
one.
I posted it on my Facebook page. What a nasty, naughty looking thing that is.
It looks mega, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It looks.
It is good, although I'm a bit sad to see that the trellis frame is completely gone now. I mean, on the last one they half removed it.
Yeah.
Because they had the half trellis at the subframe at the back, half trellis at the bit of the front, and now it's completely gone, isn't it? I mean,
I just want to ride it. I just want to ride that bike. Looks
definitely
a hooligan.
A lot of people complained about the same thing on the Super Duke, that the trellis has gone on the new R to the older one. But
only at the back though.
Yeah. Subframe.
Yeah.
And then
I think the back end of the Super Duke is awesome. I think that's fantastic. It's like It's the carbon fibre bath from the A10 Warthog, isn't it?
All right,
Such a
Sean,
geek.
what would you change on the new Super Duke then?
Right. I said to you before, if I was to come up with a video, 11 things that I don't like about the Super Duke R,
One thing you don't like.
I don't think. Maybe the switch gear on the left side, the buttons are a bit flimsy. Maybe.
Yes.
But that's probably, honestly, without even sort of sitting here for, I've sat
Slash.
and thought about what I don't like about it. Yeah, probably the flimsy buttons on the switch gear, but mine hasn't.
Switch gear
failed.
let that bike down. Yeah, they let that bike down. They feel cheap, nasty.
Yeah, you feel like you're going to snap the indicator button off.
Yeah,
The right hand side's fine, but the left hand side's a bit. It's only the indicator though, to be honest. The other buttons are okay.
The central console buttons they work quite well. I remember that.
Yeah,
the direction.
It feels solid,
Right.
but the indicator. I mean, Jesus, if you're only going to moan about an indicator button,
Sorry, that's a win. That's a win.
yeah. There's really nothing else that from riding it wise, suspension wise, engine, quick shifter, blipper, all amazing. Heated grips. I've just put my heated grips on. They're amazing.
You didn't like the mirrors though. You
Yeah.
did change those.
I did, as many things, but I think mirrors on any stock mirrors are a bit sort of.
GS is fine. That's all I'm saying. GS is fine.
Oh, I feel sick. I think I'm going to puke in my cool bag.
John Broadhurst. Right, John, how you doing? Evening, fellas. Hope you're safe and well. Just a quick one for you all. With regards to watching each other's vids, are you 100%ers or flick-throughers? Also, sum up in 3 words who has the best bike. You're not allowed to say each bike has different characteristics. Stay safe and have a wonderful Christmas and New Year. Cheers, John. Same to you and the rest of the bin boys.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, cheers.
I'll say I don't watch every vid out of
nobody does.
we all sort of know each other now in the motovloggy world. I don't watch every vid, but when I do watch a vid, I watch the whole thing. I'll sit and I'll watch it just because I know I know the effect that has on analytics, so I do my bit. But I don't
and
watch
you can appreciate the work that's gone into it as well.
100%. Yeah.
So I'm the same. I don't watch every single thing that comes out, but when I sit down and watch a video, I go from start to finish and watch it all through and endure all the adverts.
Oh man, they've gone crazy, haven't they?
It's nuts, isn't it? It's nuts.
Like on these podcast ones, they'll put. I didn't know they'd done it originally. People started commenting, and I was like, "What do you mean? I haven't put adverts on them." And then you look, and there's like every 2.5, 3 minutes, there's an advert. And you're like,
Jesus, over 2 hours.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all I do now is my normal vids. I have ads at the start and end, so I before and after. And the only time I'll do mid-roll ads is if they're over.
Longer
normally,
ones,
if they're over 20 minutes, I'll put one in the middle. But now it's
and if you've got an obvious point,
if
you've
all
got
the
an obvious
podcasts
point
have
where
one
an advert
ad in
fits.
the middle. That's it.
Yeah.
But to be honest, though, if I'm watching content that I'm really enjoying, it really doesn't bother me if ads come up. And I think
does it not?
Okay, maybe people get a shirty on that there's too many ads. But if I'm watching a video that I'm really enjoying, if an ad kicks in and you click it off after your 5 seconds,
it's not hard.
It really doesn't bother me.
Yeah.
I want to continue watching. It doesn't make me want to click off or anything. If the video's pants, then yeah. But if it's a vid that I'm really enjoying, it's really no skin off my teeth if I have to sit for 5 seconds and look at
you
some
endure
advert.
it, don't you? Yeah, because you know.
Yeah. Noted. I'm just going to take all the adverts off my videos then.
Talking of ads, have you guys noticed a massive spike in ad revenue?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's gone crazy, hasn't it?
I wouldn't say massive, but it's reached highs.
Yeah.
YouTube tells me it's because higher value adverts are being associated with my channel, apparently.
Yeah.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, definitely.
It's working anyway.
It's very welcome. Crikey, it's very welcome, but I wonder how long it's going to go for. But Yeah, it just seems over the last 3 or 4 months, the ad revenue's just gone up and up and up.
Yeah, but
I think it's Christmas, isn't it? I think I've always noticed a bit of a pattern where with the lead up to Christmas, there's a bit of a spike. Yeah,
See,
definitely. And then in the summer, it dips down again because everybody's out riding the bikes.
See, I generally used to make 30 to 50 quid a month off of ad revenue. That's all I was earning. And then it just seems, since I've gone full time this year, it obviously it jumped up quite a bit. And in the last sort of 4 or 5 months, it's gone up a lot. I mean, it's not massive, but for me, it's a hell of a lot more than 50 quid a month, definitely, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't know why that is, but oh well.
It seems to be
don't
working.
Question it.
It seems to be working, but...
Don't question it. Just go with it.
Yeah. Just
That's
take
why
it.
I like to
like the
that's why I
goat,
like
just
to
take
think-
it.
That's why I like...
Oh, dear.
I kind of hope that the sort of regular subs have the same sort of mentality as I do. If they enjoy watching the content and an ad pops up, they know that it's helping you out and you're earning a bit on that and it's making the channel sort of progress. I'm kind of the mindset, you know, that people will probably be the same as me and that they don't give a shit. I mean, people that probably don't come to your channel every so often, or first timers, or you know, you're going to have hundreds of people that get pissed off with adverts. But for the regulars, I mean, I'm more interested in the interaction and the regulars that keep coming back.
Definitely,
yeah, of course.
I'm kind
building
of the
a community.
mindset. Yeah, they're probably going to see past that and know that it's helping you out, and nobody's going to give you shit for it. But you know, the one-time watcher might get upset, but I think it's okay.
Yeah, definitely. People expect it now as well, don't they? Like YouTube as a platform's changed, and I think people are just accustomed to the ads now, I think.
Yeah, and for people like you that are actually full time, I wouldn't dream of, you know, clicking off or something just because there's some adverts on your channel or something.
But the thing is, I don't make my income don't come from the ad. It's certainly now it's a small part of it now, but it never used to make up any of my budget at all. Now it's something that that's going to help.
Yeah, definitely.
You know, everyone seems to think you make your money off of that, and some people do. Definitely, some people definitely do, but no, I don't. Yeah. Another part of John's questions. Also, sum up in 3 words who's got the best bike. It is Sean. Sorry, Andy.
Oh, Andy's gone on to the hard shit there. Was he?
Yeah,
whiskey.
He's had enough. He's just cracking on.
Slàinte. Well,
Right,
that was a bit Irish. This is Scottish, isn't it?
I need another.
Slàinte. Yeah, Slàinte's Irish, isn't it? Yeah. Slange, Scottish.
Slange.
Jolene, Darren Edwards, Bronson actually, so it's Darren. Hi everyone, Bronson here. Hope you're all well. After watching some of your latest tour content, which is very enjoyable, how many times have you thought, oh shit, he's coming off here, as I've noticed a few moments when a new pair of pants would be needed?
Yeah,
That's every ride.
On the last video of day 2 of the touring of Hard Chip that I did with Andy, I thought I was going to crash.
Yeah, mate, I thought you were as well. I thought that was it.
I thought I was off.
I think the silence was very telling, because you went quiet, I went quiet, and then it was like, oh, he's got away with it. Fuck me, he's got away with it.
I nearly hit the barrier. Yeah.
Wow. Go on, talk us through what happened.
But I'm just not the Bridgestone S22s that come on the Super Duke are an amazing tyre. I mean, it's a sports tyre, so you can't expect too much of a sports tyre.
Take that Bridgestone cap off. Come on, tell us.
You can't expect too much of a sports tyre in the winter, I don't think. But it was 4 degrees and it was pissing it down 9-inch nails, and I couldn't deal with it. I couldn't deal with it. I had no bike. I had no grip, no confidence in the bike, and I think there was more times than appeared in the video where I had slight problems. But that one in the last video was the biggest. Well, I actually thought I was gonna cream in. I basically went straight on a bend and went onto the other side of the road, and then nearly hit the centre reservation.
I think you had like probably an inch of the road left before you'd have been in the verge, wouldn't you? It was.
Yeah. But for
Which one was this?
Andy's last video of our day 2 of Touring Avad. You have to watch.
Wet and Wild in Touring Avad.
I've certainly watched the first. I haven't watched the second. Plainly, I'll have to watch.
It's the wettest video the world has ever seen.
And it was so cold, and my tires just wouldn't switch on, and I was just creeping it. Well, I don't know. We still had a bit of a lick on, but
we weren't hanging about.
I definitely had some issues, and I had a couple of rear end slips and front end slips and corners where I went straight on. It was a bit hairy.
Yeah, that's horrible. Once you've lost faith in your tyres, once your faith's gone in your tyres, that's it.
And I had it a few times after that trip. Even in the dry, I'd been out and it was cold, and I was losing the front, losing the back. So they've now gone. So we've got a nice set of Power 5s from Michelin on, which I haven't really sort of tested much yet, but. Any sport tire, you're going to be asking probably too much in the winter. But unfortunately for that Super Duke with a 200 rear tyre, there's not many people that do sports touring tyres for that. But I don't particularly want to put any sports tyre on it. But as long as I can get a tyre that works a bit in the cold, then I'll be happy.
Yeah, nice.
My tyres were great on that weekend though.
What did you have?
Andy was smashing it.
Yeah, I had a set of Avon Spirit STs, and they were brilliant, absolutely
Seriously?
brilliant. Yeah, they were really, really good.
Avon's had such a bad reputation for years, and in the last probably year or two, they really seem to have, I don't know, have they rebranded or something? Because
I don't know, they must have done. But the Spirit ST, I think.
Talk about the Avons.
I kind of missed. I kind of missed it as well. It went under my radar. And I think it happened for a lot of people because it came out at the same time as the Road 5s did.
Yeah.
And it's got the same... They've got these clever little sipes moulded into the tyres that are like... They call them 3D siping. Yeah, I know. But they've got like... Inside the groove, there's these little teeth so that when you're on the corner on the edge of the tyre, giving it some beans in the dry, these teeth lock together and they give you the stability.
Yeah.
But when you're straight up in the wet, the teeth let go and they suck the water out. It's brilliant. They were really, really good.
Wow. I'm going to have to try up here.
They just seem to have not shouted about it as much as Michelin did with the Road 5s, because the Road 5s were brilliant, but I would honestly say I wasn't pushing any harder on the Road 5s than I was on the Avons, and they were great. They were really, really good. I actually... Sean makes it sound like we had the nail-biting roller coaster from hell on that weekend, but I actually had moments of utter joy in and out of the bends. It was wet, but I was still enjoying the riding. It was fantastic.
Awesome. That's a good tyre then, isn't it? If it gives you that confidence, awesome.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, the only problem was I was fucking freezing and soaking wet.
He's coming back. He's coming back. Shh. What? Because what?
No, what?
Hey, he's here. Shh. Shush. Yeah. Hi, Sean. Hi.
Yeah. Oh. And then he started up first time and he just drove away.
That was a fucking banging shit, boys.
What, that quick? That's the army training, isn't it? That's the army training.
Isn't it? Yeah.
Boys, this is a tragic state of affairs.
30-second download.
I've only got one beer left. That's shocking.
What?
Jesus.
How's your bottle of Lefroy coming?
Yeah, good. I've still got a little bit left, but it's it's tasty stuff. Apparently, I now own an inch of the island of Islay now.
An inch?
Why is that?
Yeah, a square inch. When you buy a bottle of Lefroy, you get a leaflet inside that says that you can claim 1 inch of the island.
Bugger off! Seriously?
It's serious.
That means you're now a laird. If you own land in Scotland, you're either a laird or a lady. And seeing as you're a man person, then you're a laird.
Oh well, then I am a laird.
Are we still on Patreon questions, or are we?
Yes, mate. We've got a long way to go. We've got a long way to go. Let's sort of crack on because we are.
I've got time.
2 hours in. Chris Cunningham, from a subscriber of all three of you. Thank you very much, Chris. What turned you on to motorcycle way of life? when, i.e. what age, and why devote so much effort in spreading the word via YouTube, etc., almost like a religion?
I only got half of that, Bruce. It was garbled.
Right. He says, what turned us on to the motorcycle way of life, i.e. what age, and why do we devote so much effort and time into spreading the word via YouTube?
Oh, okay.
Go on then.
Who's going?
Well, everyone knows mine, so over to you.
Okay.
I think, all of my uncles, all of my dad's brothers, all had motorbikes when I was younger, and I remember when I was like, I don't know, probably 10, sitting on my uncle's, but it must have been some kind of DRZ. I think it was like an off-road bike, and he sat on the back and he did the throttle and stuff, but he let me do the steering and just being. And my granddad at the time was living on a farm, so we had shitloads of farm tracks and fields and stuff, and I used to go on my uncle Chris's bike.
That's cool.
With him on the back and just blat around on these little farm tracks and bridle paths and stuff, and just that kind of hooked me. And then after that, my stepdad had a motorbike for as long as I can remember, and I just kind of decided, right, one day I'm going to get a motorbike. And then kind of semi-unfortunately, the cementing point was when I watched the entire Long Way Round series. And I also, because I was so into it, I bought the book that they both wrote.
I loved it.
It was bloody brilliant. And I literally watched the series, I read the book, and then the week after that I sold my car and booked my motorbike license to do the direct access. And then 6 months after that I was touring in France.
Brilliant.
And that was it.
Yeah.
Awesome. It's changed a lot of lives, that show. Changed a lot of lives.
I loved it.
What about you, Sean?
Well, I was lucky enough to grow up around the TT because I've got family, my aunties, uncles, cousins, they all live there. So we grew up with the TT at a young age. We were a lot of times on the Isle of Man. So that's where it started, watching the TT as a young kid. And my parents were always dead against it, and there's no way you're getting a bike and this and this. And because I left home at such a young age at 16 when I joined the military, it started in the military. We had some military bikes and we did a bit of off-roading, but I didn't get my license until later on in life because I just didn't have the time in the military. Although bikes were always about, and we could ride them in the military without. Who beeped?
Wasn't me.
It was you, wasn't it?
It was me again.
What's going on with your camera?
Is it getting hot?
Yeah, it could be.
I'll get it back on. Oh, it's turned itself off now. Okay, now.
It's had it. It's too hot.
Hold on. I've got a spare.
Mine sometimes overheat, definitely. Have you got it next to a light? Like I've got a big newer light next to mine, and sometimes that cooks it.
See, I've got mine. Secret tip: I've got mine plugged into the power, but with the battery door is off and the battery is out, and it's no trouble because it cools itself because the air can get in.
Oh, see, I always thought you had to have a battery in it, even though it's plugged into the mains.
Keep the battery out and plug the power on, and then you're all good. You've got cooling space.
Andy, I did.
Because mine's on 2 hours now. No troubles.
Oh, I thought you had to have the battery in. Right. Okay, lesson learned. Every day's a school day. Thank you. I'll try that next time. Are you done, Sean? God, we're always waiting on Sean.
Jesus. It's nice, actually, for it not to be me for once.
The GoPro Hero 8 has shat its pants. Let me take the battery out.
This is exciting stuff, though.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
I might have to edit this.
You could put some music over this. Dun, 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 dun.
Sing us a song, Andy. Sing us a song.
I feel under pressure now.
I'm listening to all your fucking drivel, but I'm trying to get my camera back. Right, we're back. Hold on.
No one's waiting. So you're all right. Right. Speak, you numpty.
Krankenwagen!
sniper. Right, we're back in the room.
Yeah, so...
Right, cheers, Chris. Oh, you hadn't finished, had you?
No. I'd... what was I on? Isle of Man TT.
Isle of Man
military.
TT.
So I was always away. So licence came later date, later on in life with me. But I'd had bikes, for many years when I was a younger kid. But it didn't come till later on when it was all sort of official. I don't know, maybe it's probably about 10 years ago. Did my official, and I actually did my licence here in Germany because I've been here so bloody long. I've never ridden a motorcycle in the UK. There you go. Check that out.
Wow.
Why not? I thought you'd been back over here, like riding.
No.
Do you think that's going to freak you out a bit when you're riding a bike on the other side of the road?
Proper, because I did my test when I was 17 with the military, and that was in the UK. So I'd only driven a car in the UK for not even 1 year. So when I go to UK, I have a nightmare.
Do you?
Yeah, it's totally alien for me to ride or drive in the UK because I only rode or drove a car for less than a year. So most of the time of my driving experience has been here in Germany. So.
I genuinely find it no issue at all whether I'm driving or riding to be on the left or the right. Just doesn't bother me. I've got to admit, and I hate to admit it, but driving on the right-hand side of the road just
It feels more natural, doesn't it?
Feels better. And I
Yeah,
hate to say that because I don't want
works.
it to be. But it just, I don't know, it just feels better. Yeah. But
Yeah, I've got to the point now where when I go to the UK... I got to the point where I go to the UK now, it takes a while to get used to it again, and it feels alien and weird.
Yeah.
Definitely. Yeah, and then when I go back to Europe, there's always that moment of, I remember.
The last time I went to the UK, I'd filled up at a Shell garage in Dover after I got off the ferry, and the exit from the petrol station came directly onto the roundabout. So me, dickhead, exited the Tankstelle, the petrol station, and went round the wrong way of the roundabout and up the wrong way of the dual carriageway. What a bellend.
You are that fucking idiot that you see on the news.
Yeah, I'm that idiot. Yeah.
Wow.
I mean, it probably happens there on a daily basis there in Dover. But...
Well, they do have signs everywhere, like in every language you can possibly think around Dover and folks.
Well, yeah, for whatever reason, maybe I was pissed. I don't know.
Right, next one. Paul Jai, to the Likeable rider. Any plans on here we go. Any plans on changing your tyres after your recent trip with Andy Mancam? And Andy Mancam, what's the next exhaust on the CB1000R?
Yes, there are plans to change, and I have already changed the tyres on.
That's the Power Pure 5s, isn't it? Or Power 5s?
The Michelin Power 5s are on the bike as we speak, yes. Because as I said before, S22s, to get heat in them in colder weather is a nightmare. So whether the Power 5s are going to be any different, I don't know either, because they're a sports tyre as well.
Well, they are, yeah. Surely, I mean, do they not do a sport? Do they do a sport touring tyre yet for the Super Duke?
Not from Michelin, because nobody will do a 200 rear because there's no market for it. Because nobody, I don't think
Avon do.
Avon do. Shit.
Poster boy.
I mean, I think there's definitely a small market for that, for the Super Duke R, that anybody wants to puts a sport touring tyre on it. It's probably they're probably not going to make many sales of that. So I think the 190 is as far as most brands go. But apparently you can squeeze a 190 onto the Super Duke R. Somebody messaged me and said. But I was like, I'm not doing that because in Germany.
Yeah, I don't think Germany would like that either.
No, it's in the docks, isn't it? The tyre size. So if you go a smaller, that's gonna.
They do like a regulation in Germany, don't they? They do like a regulation.
And they just changed it as well. They just changed the rules here. Like it used to be that tyre manufacturers would test the tyres for you, and they'd give you what's called a Freigabe, which is like a
bless you.
Thank you. And it was basically like a pre-approval of the tyres, so you could have them without having them tested. and they've just changed it completely. So the rules now are, if the tyre is the same size as they are from the factory, you're all good.
Yeah.
If they're a different size or a different spec, you have to have them checked by the TÜV guy, which is like the equivalent of the MOT, and that costs a bit of money. Like they have to actually check it for you.
Yeah.
Which is annoying, but annoying. Although I think the whole sport, the fact that there's so few sport touring tyres available for the Super Duke R, it's a bit of an outdated thinking, because the sport touring tyres now are just incredible. They're just amazing.
You do not need any other tyre. For road riding, you don't need any other tyre than sports touring. All this bollocks, they're not sticky enough. Utter shite.
It is such a shite.
On the road, if you can outride a modern sports touring tyre, then you should be racing. You should be getting paid for your riding.
Yeah. Definitely, I agree completely. When me and Sean went to the Bilsterberg track day that we did last year, Sean had Michelin Road 5s and I had Metzeler 01 SEs, and we were giving it all the pasty whenever possible. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Right, Andy. Paul said, "What's the next exhaust?" I know we touched on that. Excuse me earlier, but what's the next exhaust then? You must have one in mind.
Well, do you know what? I don't really have one in mind, to be honest, because I don't want to upset the running of the bike. And I always think that if you're going to spend a bunch of money on an exhaust pipe, it should give you something. And normally that's a bit of extra noise, isn't it? It's a bit of sound. And the Acra pipe for my bike looks proper good. It's really tasty. It's quite angular and it fits the look of everything. But apparently the noise, it just makes no difference at all. So it's 800 quid for no noise change.
That's true of Acra across the board. They're so expensive and they sound not great. I mean, I had the same on my S1000 XR. The Acra was €1,100, and it made little difference to the noise. And the same on the KTMs. Although KTM, they do a thing with Acra, the difference is minimal and the price is massive.
Yeah. So that's what makes me think. For the time being, I'm just going to stick with the stock pipe. It's not hideous.
It's nice.
It doesn't sound awful. Yeah, I think so. As stock pipes go, it's one of the better ones. And I quite like the sound, to be honest. And living in Germany, I don't know whether, contrary to what I said at the beginning, this is the one area that I've changed. I kind of like the idea that I can roll into the villages and the towns and then just stick it into sixth gear, potter along at 50 kilometres an hour and make no noise at all.
Not annoy anybody.
Exactly, hearts and minds. Trying to convince the people. One ride by at a time. Yeah.
I'm surprised you said that, Sean, about the Acra on the XR, because I've put, mind you, it's full system, but I've put a full Acra system on my last couple of GSs, and it makes a massive difference.
Yeah, full system for sure, but NCAN, little difference.
All the silencing happens in the middle, doesn't it? So that box that's under the bike does all the work.
Yeah, these days there's so much padding and wadding and everything down there.
Yeah.
Like, all these bloody cats and everything.
Might as well just go electric,
different story.
Yeah, electric, man. Honest.
Yeah.
Have you tried an electric yet, Sean?
No, because it's not really big here. Like with everything else, test rides. Although we've done a few, it's a pain in the cock because
they're not relaxing.
Nobody's into it here, and you have to, like Andy and I've said before, you have to pretend to want to buy a bike to jump on one. If you go into a dealership and say, "Fancy lending me that for 3 hours? I want to make a YouTube video on it," they'd be like, "You want to do what?" Well, you have to pay for that. So you want to rent the bike for a day? That's going to cost you €300. You're like, no. This is it's like a YouTube social media thing. It's good for you. No, we don't. What are you talking about?
They haven't grasped it.
But the funny thing is, actually, I looked at ages ago. I wanted to rent a a Kawasaki Z900 for the day. Kind of half because I was thinking about, this was when I was thinking about what I was going to buy, and half because I wanted to have a new bike for the day and jolly around and make a video. And because I'm a massive sad geek, I read the small print, and there was a section in the small print that said the insurance doesn't cover journalistic or media-related use.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So even if you rent the bike for a day, you're not allowed to make a video about it.
Yeah, that's a bit pants, isn't it? The UK certainly seems to be...
They've embraced it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's no issue over here. None at all.
We have to sign, when we take a bike out, once we've lied and said we might want to buy it, you have to sign, and the excess on the bike is €1,500 if you bin it.
Yeah, if you're lucky. When I took the Ducatis for a test ride, I had to actually give them the money for €2,000. They swiped it off. They swiped my card.
I'd have mugged that off.
I was close to mugging it off because when I tried it on one card, and they went, "Oh no, it didn't work. So your limit must be €1,000." So I had to spread the deposit over 2 cards to be able to take the bike for a test ride. Unbelievable.
No thanks.
Yeah.
No. They're really
when I took the Honda for a ride, which I actually bought, the excess was €2,500.
Jesus Christ.
For a Honda, you could buy like 6 Hondas for that, couldn't you?
Yeah. With change.
Let's move on.
Yeah, keep going.
Well, we still got loads of questions here.
Yeah,
Next one, Mark Monday. Question to Andy and Sean. Please explain the sat-nav navigational meltdowns that always seem to be the highlight of your joint vids. Bearing in mind you're in the presence of a navigation god.
Yeah.
Oh, did you mention the road around the world? I keep getting this. Yeah, very good. So your sat-nav navigation meltdowns.
I think we found that the secret and the magic ingredient to all of this is just me. I seem to have some electromagnetic field, as shown by when we were in Sauerland last time together. And Sean's I'm sure, mate, I'm right in saying that you're a staunch believer in the Garmin way. And you love it. It always works. And then you were raging about how great it was. And then literally 20 minutes later, we were on a farm track.
I thought it was brilliant, though. It was brilliant.
Kalimoto. Have you tried Kalimoto yet?
I have, yeah. The free version. Yeah, because everything that the Kalimoto does, my SatNav does. It's the my Garmin's the 590 LM, and it will do everything Kalimoto does. So it's for me to just bin that off. I mean, I've used the Kalimoto app a few times, and I think it's cool. But because I've got the Garmin and it does everything that the Kalimoto app does, then I just roll with it. But the random routes and just plotting in the destination, it does all that.
Does it? I didn't know they did that. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. I think the biggest problem that we've ever as a team have had, and as I personally alone have had, is just the fact that I bought the cheapest unit that Garmin ever made. And it's got none of the proper features, and for some reason it's just programmed by a monkey, because we've had times where Sean has planned a glorious route through all of Sauerland's wonderful curves and twists and hills and troughs, and then we've just downloaded it into my Garmin SatNav, and suddenly a 250 kilometre route was 1,300 kilometres long. Because it's mixed up the ordering, and we've gone like, well, we need to go to the last point first, and then to the second from last, and then to the first, and then and it's just created this incredible spider web of despair. And
you should have done that. I think it would have been an amazing ride.
It would have been awesome. We'd have been fucking knackered by the end of it.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think any sat nav is without the odd issue. You know, it takes you down a road where you probably don't want to be down. But any app will do that as well. But I mean, Addy, looking back on your vids though, you know, obviously yours is always charging from the PT on your bike. But that's because you're charging it through the USB port on the back, right? You're not charging it through the cradle.
But the crazy thing is, I've had entire weekend trips doing that without any problem.
Okay.
And then suddenly, out of nowhere, it goes, "Oh, I want to connect to the computer now."
But mine would do the same. If I plugged it into the USB port in the back of it, it would then say you're connected to a PC. But because it's charging over the Garmin Cradle, it then works normally.
Yeah.
I think the problems you're having with it is because you've binned off the Cradle and you've plugged it into the sort of PC port. USB port.
Possibly. Although I've got the in-car charger as well, and that goes into the USB port.
Okay, yeah, mine still has a Cradle, the car charger.
Yeah, mine goes straight into the back. I think the problem is I've bought a horrendous, cheap heap of shit offering from Garmin, which oddly enough they don't sell anymore.
Yeah,
I think there's a good reason why. Yeah.
There's a couple of other people asking about your sat nav incapabilities.
I think it adds to the comedy value. It's
Absolutely,
it's very amusing.
And oddly enough, I've contacted TomTom, Garmin again. I've even contacted Beeline, and strangely enough, nobody replies to me. They just think anything they give me is going to be shit.
This man is a no.
They've got a picture of me in their office. Yeah. Don't give anything to this guy.
Give this man an old-fashioned road map.
Yeah. Next one, Smoky Gun. Cracking lineup, Bruce. Cheers, Smoky. I was recently amazed, scared, by Andy Mancam's grasp of the Scottish accent during his NC 500 trip. Loved your clip correcting his pronunciation of tongue, Bruce. Question for all. What's the worst accent you do, and has it ever gotten you into bother? Keep up the great work. Cheers, Rich. Thanks, Rich. Right, worst accents.
I think with Andy can rinse pretty much every accent going, from what I've heard. Andy is the man of accents.
Yeah, well, we've all got weaknesses, though. We've all got weaknesses.
Let's name one. Let's go New Zealand. New Zealand accent. Andy, go.
New Zealand is quite a tough one because it's like Australian but slightly different because they pronounce their I's and the E's very differently from the Australians.
That's mega.
It's good. It's a little bit South African, but I think
it's a little bit South African too. South African, I would have to say, is probably my weakest accent, and I've gotten into trouble before trying to do the South African accent with "Would you like some brown bread, brew?" When I thought I'd do a South African accent to a bloke I thought was South African, turned out he was from New Zealand.
That's for fucking
not happy.
And that's what? Would you say, Sean?
That's for fucking breaking my TV, brood.
Right, Sean, what's your worst accent?
I'm not really great with accents, to be honest. I don't know. They'd probably all be pretty terrible to me.
Yeah, me too.
I don't know. You can do a few every so often. You blurt something out, but I don't know.
I think you did well there, Andy. You did well for being put on the spot. You did
absolutely,
very well.
absolutely.
Yeah, I'm impressed.
And a few drinks in as well. You know.
Yeah, exactly.
Drinks. I'm out, boys.
Have you got none left at all?
No. Well, I have downstairs, but I'd have to do a.
Well, you've already disappeared twice to go to the toilet, so you may as well disappear and go and have a beer.
Well, fire the next question out, and if it's not for me, then I'll go and get another couple
right.
of.
This is from Nut S. Do you guys have any good recommendations for proper rain gear? Well, it depends what you're after, Nut. Depends. What sort of are you planning on regularly riding in the rain for any prolonged period of time? In which case, if you're planning to do a lot of it, then I would heartily suggest you invest some money in good kit. But if it's just going to be for the occasional trip away, or if you get caught short, just a set of like either waterproof one suit or a two-piece waterproof rain suit. Just a cheap suit will do. But if you're going to spend a lot of time out in bad weather, invest in good kit, whether it's the Rucker, the Climb. That's some of the new Risha stuff and Revit stuff's good. But if you can't get the Gore-Tex Pro, I would heartily suggest. What do you think, Andy?
Yeah, I completely agree, and I guess it comes down to as well if the question is, do you want to stop and put your waterproofs on, or do you want to already have them on all the time? In which case, if you're happy to wear the gear that you've got and then pull over when you see the dark clouds coming in and put your waterproofs on, then like you said, like any waterproof one piece is going to do it. Obviously, if that storm turns into a bit of an onslaught, then something breathable that's got a bit of a microporous membrane is going to help. But yeah, otherwise, if you want to already have the gear on, you need to be looking at laminates and laminate textile suits like the Rucker, like the Climb. And I've actually, if you can see it, it's actually hanging on the back of my door there. See that? Oh, look at that.
What's that?
That's from a German company called Boozer, and it's a laminated suit. And the suit entirely will cost you less than €600, so about 500
Seriously?
quid.
That's brilliant.
It's not Gore-Tex. It's their in-house membrane, but it is a microporous membrane, which they've told me is very similar to Hypora, which is another German. It's a German competitor to Gore-Tex.
Of course it is. Of course.
Yeah, and I have to say, I've only worn it once in the rain so far, and the water beads off immediately. It's like a Teflon frying pan. It's incredible. It just flies off. And when I got home after I was in the rain, it dried within 2 or 3 hours. The jacket was dry again. So laminates is the way forward. I don't know. It's kind of more similar to Hypora.
Okay.
Sean, did you switch your camera off, or were you still going?
No, it's
just
on.
Do you need to sync up again? But if it's still recording, that's fine.
I left it rolling. Okay.
Yeah, but yeah, so I would say that I've got this kit in the Dream that I will always have the waterproofs on already, and they're fully vented. They've got these big zips that zip up in the chest, and then you fold these flaps back, and you've got a big mesh panel and zips down the back, and it sounds very S&M, but
to reveal your boobs.
Yeah, well, I try and get my boobs out as much as possible, mate, as you well know, you dirty sausage.
Wow.
Rain gear. It comes down to what you want. Like you said, Bruce. It depends whether you want something quick and dirty that you can smash on, or if you want something that you can have on all the time.
I don't know where to go with that. Mark Fulcher, apologies in advance for calling the Likeable rider a fat Gary Barlow in a previous tweet. He did, remember? That's brilliant. It's my mate Fulch.
Fucking bastards.
I know. Question for the guests. Why haven't either of you got your bloody knee down yet? Seriously, on a more serious note, Catherine Zeta-Jones or Catherine Jenkins?
Oh, God, that was a bizarre question.
Catherine Jenkins, all day long.
Yeah, Jenkins.
Smash, triple,
Jenkies.
Quadruple, wallop.
Yeah.
But the question is, would you rather shag Catherine Jenkins and nobody knows about it?
Would you what?
Would you rather shag Catherine Jenkins and nobody knows about it, or not shag her and everybody thinks that you did?
No one knows about it, and I do.
I'd go the other way.
Without a shadow of a doubt. The goat can watch.
Yeah.
I nearly died.
Oh, dear.
A Lefroy death. Yeah. What was the second part of the question? Sorry.
That was the second part.
Jones or Catherine Jenkins.
Yeah.
What was the first part?
Why haven't you got your knees down yet?
Oh, I haven't got my knees down.
I'm too wet.
I don't want to fucking scratch my knee scrapers.
Bollocks. Right, we're doing a track day. We'll do a track day, and you two will get your knees down. It's easy as hell. All it is body position. That's all it is. Simple. Body position. I've ridden with both of you. You can both more than capable of putting your knees down. No, you don't need to ride quick at all. It's just body position. That's all it is.
You had me at track day.
Let's get on that.
Best advice I was given was head position. So it's don't look over the handlebars, look around the edge. So say you're going around a left-hander, then obviously you want to shift your arse off the seat, so your right ass cheek is on the seat. and you want to be hanging off enough that your right forearm is across the tank. And rather than look over the top of the bike, try and look around the sort of, if that's your left handlebar and this is the middle of the bike, you want to be looking round here rather than over here. You want your head over here. And your knee
So the other side of the mirror.
Yeah, on the inside of the corner, you want your head to be on the inside of the corner, looking round that bend, and your knee will just go down. Well,
Thing is, I can't put knee sliders onto my hipster Kevlar jeans.
I think you can get strap-on knee sliders.
You've got one of them as well, Andy.
I've just finally buying a strap-on was a good idea.
Imagine turning up at a track day
With the cock on your knees.
with a rubber cock on each knee. Just looking at you.
You'd probably get the tip down, no problem.
Just tip X Dionysi onto them or
Yeah,
something.
to tell you what, if you went any further, you'd be shafted, though.
Have you got your knee down, boys? No, but I've got my tip down.
Hey!
You can get some
Just
S&M
the
ones
nose.
with studs
Just
in it,
the
so the
nose.
Sparkies.
Oh my god.
Brilliant. Oh,
Next.
sheesh. Right, next one. Dale Hawks. Cheers, Mark. Dale Hawks. For Sean, how are you finding the Super Duke R for touring? And do you think you would have been better off on the newer GT after your older version? Love all 3 channels. So how are you getting on with the Super Duke?
No is the answer to that. I wouldn't go with the GT because
I'm going to duck out for this one. Sorry, chaps.
No
Go for a
worries,
sec.
no problem.
Roger, and the Super Duke R, although it's slightly less practical because there's no screen and there's a few less touring capabilities on the R, but the seat on the new R, I don't know if you found the same thing, Bruce. I mean, it's wafer thin, but it's so comfortable. I can ride that thing all day with no. I get probably knee ache more than arse ache from longer days out, but I don't regret it at all because although I did have the GT and I've always had sort of sports tourers, and when I was getting onto the R, I questioned why I'm still buying sports tourers because although I'm doing long trips, and okay, it's a bit more comfortable on a GT because you can click in some luggage and you've got a screen and you've got some other bits and bobs that make your life more comfortable. But just from the grin factor of the R, and as I've slapped some luggage on that thing from SW Motec, I've got panniers, I've got rear bags, I've got tank bags coming out of my arse. You can tour on any bike. It's just what
absolutely.
It's just what you want to get out of it. And if you're not really bothered about getting blasted by the wind, or if you've got no rain protection, if you're not really too bothered about that, then you can tour on anything. So I don't regret it at all from going to the GT.
I stand by what I said in my review of the Super Duke R. I still think that is the greatest road bike available today.
Yeah,
I think it's phenomenal. I
Yep.
just love that bike. I came so close to buying one.
Yeah.
Off of I had it for 2 weeks. I came so close to buying one, but it was just the sort of practicalities of the GS. It's just a shaft drive. It's a tractor. I can strap loads of stuff to it and just chug along. And I'm in comfort. But I enjoy riding the Super Duke more than the GS. Definitely.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I mean, I get that practicality makes your life easier, but for the grin factor, then it's cool.
Can't beat it.
Sorry, Bruce, my daughter's.
Oh, no worries. Oh, mate, if you need to go.
Sure. I can see it. Yeah, but I don't regret coming from that to the R. I don't mind going a bit more unpractical because I've been able to strap luggage to that Super Duke R. So, and for the amount of times that I strap gear to it for a longer tour, if you're talking 1 or 2 major tours a year, longer tours, then you can make do. But it's that grin factor of being able to ride that bike in mountain passes where nothing else is going to come close, and you've been able to get a bit of luggage on it. Then I don't mind getting blasted by the wind a bit or zero rain protection, I'm really not bothered.
No, I get it.
Yeah.
Right, we are 4
totally
questions from the end. Yeah. What do you think, Andy? B.
Well, I got the gist of it at the end. I completely agree that if you can, sure, it's a bit more uncomfortable when you're on the way there, but if you've got the ultimate twisty machine when you get to the twisties, who's winning? Yeah. Who's winning, really?
Yeah, absolutely. 100%.
I mean, and not that the Super G GT wasn't like that. I mean, it still was. I mean, it was minimal, tamed down from the R, but I don't know. It was something. I don't know. It was just something I wanted to go full naked, man.
No, I get you.
Yeah.
Right, David Bushholtz. Does Andy sing Sean a lullaby to get him off? Oh, sorry, to sleep when they are touring together.
No, I find that gently stroking his head does the job.
That's all we'll say about that one. Joe Gasparini, a question for all of you. On average, who are better looking, ladies from Britain or Germany? Oh, God.
I think it depends where you go.
Yeah. But on average,
I would probably go UK if I was really sort of.
So I would say, based on Hamburg, maybe Germany.
Yeah, I've not been up there.
Yeah, well, I think it's the city thing, isn't it? Like I think there's a lot more attractive young ladies in London than there are in the rest of the UK. But it's just it's the concentration thing, isn't it?
yeah, it is.
I mean,
If you concentrate enough, then everybody's good looking.
definitely. But I mean, I never look. Sorry,
Obviously,
that was
me either.
Sorry,
I didn't know there
course,
were any other
sorry.
women apart
Sorry,
from my wife.
that was absolute bollocks. But I thought I'd have to get that out.
Your wife's not there; she's working.
She's working. Sorry.
R5. I think. Well, maybe it's not true now, but I would have said German women were. Well, I would have said European people were generally fitter than the UK because the Europeans tend to have much more of an outdoorsy type lifestyle. Certainly when I've been away on tour, you always see, it used to knock me back when I'd get to France and Germany and Spain, the amount of people that are out hiking and like rafting and canoeing and stuff. But, and this is the big caveat, that certainly seems to have changed quite a bit in the UK. There's a lot more people doing fitnessy type stuff here
Outdoorsy
in the UK
stuff
than there used to be. I've noticed it a lot more now.
It definitely depends on where you are and where you go. But.
Yeah. But I think basically,
And your
Joe,
tastes.
Yes, I think, Joe, what we're desperately trying to do is not get ourselves into trouble with our respective other halves. So
I think if we say there's definitely still a lot of mingers about that, then that saves us a little bit.
Yeah, and one man's minger is another man's not minger. Right, Matthew Perry. This will be a good one. Looking forward to it. Cheers, Matthew. School de set. Greetings from Norway. This is the last Patreon one, by the way. Greetings from Norway. Andy, you appear to insist on... here we go. You appear to insist on struggling with Garmin. And for how long now? Have you tried the Kali Moto app? Go on, School de set. I'm certain Mr. Strong... Who's Mr. Strong? I'm Mr. Strong, I think, by the sound of it. Could provide you with a code for a trial period. I'm quite happy with my Kali Moto, which I purchased after using one of those codes. I enjoy it looking at my stats after every ride. The app isn't perfect, but surely it has to be better than a Garmin stuck in computer mode. Kind of School de set. Well, we've already covered your issues with a Garmin, haven't we?
A little bit.
Yeah. Although to that, I would add that I've actually fell foul, as the Missenden Flyer has found out, with one of his phones being knackered by motorbike vibrations.
Yeah,
I tried to sell one of my phones on a like webuyyourphone.com or whatever it was website, and they rejected it because the camera was knackered. And I can only think that was because I was mounting it to the handlebars.
Yeah.
What phone holder had you been using?
I've been using the Ultimate Add-ons phone holder.
See, it always used to be a competitor's one, but the Ultimate Add-ons had changed their design slightly, and that seems to have triggered it. So yeah, they're now redesigning everything again. I used to use the iPhone 10 case, even though I had iPhone 11. I used to use iPhone 10, and when Richie and who was with us, Mr. Fish, I think it was. Yeah, it was Mr. Fish. When we were away, both of them had camera issues, and when you looked at the sort of silicon padding around their phone holders for the new 11 compared to the 10 had a lot more. So it was like, oh, that's interesting, because I've never had any issues at all on mine.
Okay.
Yeah, they're addressing that. Apparently it's the frequency. Apparently it's something to do with the engine frequency.
I don't use mine at all anymore, my old Add-ons case, because not that my phone broke, but the actual mount that it sat in, I don't know if it's because I had it mounted on two V twins that are pretty rattly, but it wore out the mount, and the phone was.
Did it?
It did it on my Yamaha too.
The phone in the case.
It vibrated it to pieces.
Yeah, and every time you took the phone off, it was covered in white powder at the back where the plastic had just been vibrating, and it had just worn out the mount, and the whole mount was shaking, not the phone inside.
Wow.
But the phone case was shaking just because the mount was destroyed.
Did you feed that back?
I had the same thing. It wouldn't work anymore.
Yeah. Okay. So I don't use it because I thought the whole phone case was going to fly off.
Yeah, that's interesting. See, I've always used they do this strap, this Helix strap. It's for push bikes. You find it in the push bike section of the website, but it's the one I've always had. So it's have I got one here? I don't. It's down on the bike actually at the moment. But it's just a ratchet strap that goes round anywhere on the bike, and then it's got like a rotating ball mount on the top of it, so you can move the holder around wherever you like. And I think because it's not rigidly attached to the bike and there's a lot more give in it, I think that's probably why I don't get any issues. I've had no issues at all with mine, but a lot of other people use like the headstock mounts where it's rigidly attached to the bike. Because I'm always doing test rides, so I just put it from one bike onto another. And I literally just, undo the strap and strap it back on, and job done.
Yeah.
My strap-on works fine. I have no issues.
Yeah, I mean, my phone's not broke, but the mounts have just worn out just from vibration.
Yeah. So whereas like with the phone that was rejected by this sell your phone thing, as far as I could see, there was nothing wrong with it. But apparently, according to their tests, the camera was defective. And since then, I've just said no more phones on the handlebars. I don't bother. Not up for it.
I don't bother.
Right, gents, how good are you for time? How are you for time? That's 2 hours 40 I've got on mine. Finished.
I'm good. I'm good.
We've finished Patreon questions, so we're now on to the Instagram ones at TeapotOne Insta.
Let's do 5 hours.
The question is, how long do you want your video to be, Bruce?
I mean, doesn't really matter, does it? Doesn't matter.
Whether it's 5 or 2 hours.
Let's do 3 questions from Instagram. Yeah, we'll just grab 3.
Why don't you pick a few out of Insta and a few out of Facebook, so a few people get.
I haven't even opened up Facebook. Facebook will be a nightmare. So, because there's that Facebook Instagram overlap, isn't there? So, I hate the way they do it all now. I wish they'd just kept them all separate, but sometimes they link, sometimes they don't. Right, Big Dave, 1966. That's Dave Hemmings. A question for all 3. Apart from bike reviews where you get to talk about the bike, where do you find the inspiration, to be able to talk drivel for so long and make it both interesting and humorous?
Well, first of all, thanks very much that you think it's interesting and humorous.
Yeah.
Although drivel.
Yeah, because ultimately it is drivel.
Yeah. So how have you honed your craft?
I try and imagine. I just try and imagine the questions that people are going to ask. Like even the most inane, boring, ridiculous questions. If I think, well, I'd want to know that, then I try and talk about it. And again, thankfully, it comes across as being interesting, but mostly it's just incredibly boring.
Are we talking about reviews, or are we just talking about
Just your
chatting,
vids.
chatting absolute nonsense when we're out for a
Chatting in the
ride?
vids.
Yeah, well, I suppose with the nonsense thing, it's just the random factor takes over, and sometimes the hours of being on your own just turns into just the thoughts in your head coming out into real life, which is mostly
It's
stuff
your
that people shouldn't
characters,
hear.
isn't it? It's
Yeah,
your
I mean-
characters,
I mean-
because your characters come across in what you say in the vids.
Yeah, I mean, if I may, I've been enjoying it immensely riding with Andy because we get on pretty good, and we've got the same sort of warped sense of humour, and we do talk a lot of bollocks.
Speak for yourself.
But I don't know. I've been enjoying it immensely, and it seems to be. I mean, it seems that the punters have been and happy to watch it, and although a lot of it is drivel, it seems to be working. So I mean, I'm
Definitely,
happy
you've
to,
got a good rapport between the two of you. Absolutely, very good.
Yeah.
It comes
Yeah,
across well on
and
your
it-
trip vids.
And it's been evident in the comments of our sort of recent tours that we've done. People seem to be enjoying it, and I'm happy to do more of the same. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, no, completely happy to oblige. I mean, because the good thing is that I think, thankfully, for once in the entertainment world, we're having a laugh, and it comes across as we're having a laugh, and other people have a laugh at our expense. So everybody wins. It's brilliant.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, there's.
Yeah.
I think. I mean, you must get. I get messages from people saying, "Oh, I've started a channel. Can you look and give me some feedback on it?" Do you ever get that?
Rarely.
Yeah.
Rarely.
You watch some of the vids, and you're just like, "Oh, you're not. There's no personality coming through, and
Yeah, I get what you mean. I mean, you don't want to say, "Well, I've looked at it, mate, but the content's okay, but you are one boring
a lot of people.
motherfucker."
I think we're all lucky. Those of us that do this reasonably successfully, we're all lucky in that. I've met the two of you, and you're no different off camera than you are on camera. So we don't adopt any persona for the camera. It's just us. This is us. So we're comfortable on the camera and we can relax. But there are other people out there who just clam up the second they switch on the camera, and they might be as funny as fuck off camera, but put them on a camera and they just dry up, don't they? And there's no personality.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. It's the red light fever. It's a real thing. It's massive.
There's a craft to it.
Yeah, definitely. And it's having fun. Just have fun on the camera.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
definitely.
unfortunately, you can make the most relevant content, the most, I don't know what you could call it, but if you're personally not somebody that others can engage with or somebody find interesting, you can make the most relevant, best content. But sorry to say it, but if you're a bellend and people don't like your character, then you're not gonna go anywhere. Not to say that we're all, amazing people, funny people or whatnot. I don't know what to blow smoke up my own ass. But
You also can't expect to please everybody. That's the other thing. It's like
Oh,
don't
God,
ever think.
No.
You've got to realise that you're going to get
That's
negative
impossible.
comments. You're going to get criticism. So you just have to deal with that. It's going to come. Deal with it however you do. Right. Let's. So go on.
No, I was just going to say that at the early days for me, I always tried to pre-answer all of the questions and try and preempt all of the negative comments, and then kind of realised that that's pointless because like you said, you can't please everybody. There's always going to be somebody who's going to tell you that you're wrong, and there's always going to be somebody that's going to tell you that the way that you did it was the worst way and my way is better.
Yeah.
And then I learned that by leaving all of the videos open to that criticism, you're just creating more interaction and more kind of just more conversation on your channel of people saying to you that you're wrong and this is shit, and then you can go back to them and say, no, it's not because of this, and they can say, yeah, but it is because of that, and you're a dickhead, and no, you're a dickhead, and your mum's a dickhead.
Yeah, the negativity still helps in the big scheme of things.
Yeah, definitely, big time.
It does, doesn't it? The old thumbs down, the thumbs down, as annoying as that is, it's still
bring them on.
Video. Yeah.
Still, your mum's a dick.
Your mum's a dick. That's going to be my next comment on your vid, Andy. Your mum's a dick.
Your mum's a dick.
I've just found, I had a quick scroll while we were talking there through some of these questions, and there's one that's jumped out at me. Bungie HRMV. 3 amazing channels coming together. Cheers, Bungie. My question, what is the most annoying question you get asked by subscribers?
I don't think there's anything annoying. You get the regular question or the constant questions or the same repetitive questions that could become annoying. I don't know if I wouldn't go as far as to say there is a one annoying question, but repetitive questions could be annoying. But I don't know.
I think it's a bit of a flexible thing. I think I
embrace all questions.
Well, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, me too. I try as much as possible to answer every single comment and as sarcastically as possible.
Yeah.
But I think the most annoying comment, the most annoying question, and this is a flexible thing, it's that one comment that asks the question, which is quite clearly answered within the video.
That's exactly what I was going to say, Andy. That fucks me off.
Yeah,
like,
just watch the video again and pay attention. And the answer, I think Schaff, he solves the problem entirely, where he just says, any questions that are asked that are answered in the video or the description will be ignored.
Yeah.
That is my biggest gripe. Is just like, you plainly have watched the first minute. If you've watched anything, it's in the video. It's answered in the video. So,
I suppose if you say links in the description to whatever product, and then somebody comments, could you send me a link to the product that you've just reviewed?
What is that you're using? What the thing that the video's all about, that I talk about for like 11 minutes?
I did say it was in the description, but I'll post it in the comments as well. Yeah. You massive.
Oh, glad it's not just me then. Right, we'll do one more then, because that is almost 3 hours. Let's have a look. Motor MA77. What's your scariest moment on a bike? And how's Andy's new helmet? And has Sean been practicing his cornering? So, scariest moment ever on a bike.
Back in the early days for me on my Honda CVF 600, probably I was leaning it into a corner, I smashed it into a pothole, and I ended up in a field. That was probably. I mean, I've never crashed. Touch wood.
Don't say it. Don't say it.
But I did bowl it into a field after creaming it into a pothole. That was probably the worst moment. But I've never had really too many bad experiences. Quite a lot of near misses, but. Yeah, that's probably the worst way. That ended in a field, but I was still sat on the thing, so I didn't
Good
bin
effort.
it. Yeah. Bit like that guy that rode over the roundabout on your. Yeah. It was horrific, but you still managed to stay on the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Any crash that you can walk away from as a landing.
Yeah.
Very true. What about you, Andy? What's your scariest experience?
I've had a few minor crashes where I've come off the bike, I've broken some bits, I've hurt myself a little bit, but I think the scariest moment was kind of, I don't know, a bit poetically, a bit of a realization at the same time, where I didn't crash, It was when I did my first ever track day, and I was on my FZS 600 when I had my renaissance for biking. When I got back into biking after like a 6-year break, I think it was longer than that, but 8 to 10 year break. I bought myself a phaser, and then I went on a track day, and I went smashing down the main straight at Snetterton racetrack, and I gave it 150% of all the throttle I had available. I was like, I'm going to see how fast this friggin' thing can go. I'm going to smash it big time. And then came that realization moment where it was like, holy shit, the corner's here already. I've overcooked this immensely. And I just remember every single sphincter in my body just went, oh my good God, we're all going to die. And I grabbed hold of the brakes. I kissed my ass goodbye and was like, I'm coming off. This is game over. And unbelievably, it worked. It came together. I was pretty close. I was like, I just nudged the curb coming into the corner, but it worked. And that was the point where I thought, I've just gone from the worst terror of my biking life to
yes,
holy shit, I can do this, and these brakes are fucking good.
Sign me up for BSB.
Yeah, so it was like it was a real just a flip flop from sheer terror, because I thought this is going to be my first crash. I'm coming off my first track day, first proper corner, and I'm going to stack it horrendously. This is awful. But the bike pulled up. I got round the corner. It wasn't pretty, but I got round the corner and didn't die. And then realised that, hang on a minute, this biking thing's quite cool and the excitement's a bit good. And turns out the brakes and the tyres are actually better than I thought. So, yeah, that was my most terrifying moment, coupled with the eureka moment of, Jesus, this is the shit I want to be doing.
Yeah, brilliant. My scariest, I spoke about this I think last week actually on a podcast.
You've had a few though, haven't you?
Yeah, but it's not any of my own crashes. It was Amish, that chap Amish that you just spoke about. We went away on tour last year,
and he had chap.
Yeah, the roundabout chap. He had a massive off in Portugal, which he's still not recovered from to this day, and that was probably my scariest moment. Like realising the rest of the boys weren't behind. And then stopping and waiting, you know, when no traffic comes and you're like, this ain't good. And then turning around and going back and just seeing everybody, like the chaos in the road and everyone huddled round his body at the side of the road. I was just like, shit, it's dead.
Seeing others bin it is just as bad, horrible, isn't it?
Yeah. That's the scariest, that's the most scared I've ever been on a bike, was just thinking, fuck, he's dead. But thankfully he was alright. Well, not alright, he was proper foobarred, but he was alive. A couple other questions there with Moto MA77. Andy, how's your new helmet? How's your helmet, Andy?
Yeah, my helmet is actually really good since I've been taking the antibiotics. It's cleaned up really nicely. It doesn't itch anymore. Well, hang on.
Everybody loves a proper good
bike
polish.
Helmet. It's to be honest, it's pretty good. I'm impressed with the quality of it, but the thing that I'm finding the most is it's heavy.
What's the name, the brand, the model? Come on.
Oh yeah, it's a HJC 90S, but the standard model, not the carbon one. But coming from a carbon fibre enduro style crash helmet and going to a modular helmet, there's a lot more weight. I'm finding it on the longer rides. It's a bit heavy. I mean, I'm loving the fact that you can flip up the front. I mean, my first ever proper motorbike helmet when I got my bike license was a Caberg something or other flip front modular helmet, and I loved that ability. When you go into the petrol station, flip the front up, faces out, you can see what you're doing, you can breathe. That's fantastic, and I'm really enjoying having that back again. But the weight. I mean, as you guys will probably agree with, once you've got your intercom, your camera, maybe some cabling, mic adapter, all of this shit on your helmet, you're looking at 2 kilograms of helmet, and then it's becoming a bit of a lump. Whereas with the carbon fibre fixed helmet, it was much lighter.
He doesn't measure 2 kilogram helmet.
That's got a hell of a swing to it, isn't it?
Yeah. Well,
What
I can
led
speak from
you-
experience. It gets too much.
What lid have you got, Sean?
I've got quite a lot of helmets, to be honest, but I've been rocking the Shui GTAs, but I've just ordered I've just ordered an HJC Rafa 70, which should come on the 10th, I believe, in KTM orange. So I'm being interested to see how that holds up, because it's actually slightly lighter than the Shui GTA. It's a sports touring helmet, but yeah, that's on the way, and we'll see how that pans out.
So in defence of the helmet I've got, it is actually apparently 60 grams lighter than the Shoei Neotech 2. But yeah. In contrast to what I'm used to, I'm finding it quite heavy.
Fair enough. Sean,
Although it's much quieter than the Ruroc, I must add.
Oh, did you have the Ruroc?
I didn't, but based on what you've said, I mean, the HJC is incredibly quiet. It's like I've got earplugs in.
Yeah.
Who wants to have a Ruroc?
Honestly, the Ruroc, I genuinely, I like the Ruroc. I like the styling, and I like the magnetic chin strap it's got. That is a game changer. It's brilliant, but it's too loud. And I wish it had a peak. I like a peak. I like the peak on the lid. I just like the look, and it's handy for, when if you're doing long rides and touring. I just find it handy having a peak, so you can angle it towards the sun. Yeah.
I mean, no disrespect to him, but I mean, I'm really not into the look of the Ruroc. I mean, I've not had one in my hands, to be honest. I don't know where do they even sell them here, Andy? Do you even get them in the
they do.
shops?
Yeah, I'm constantly getting Instagram adverts from Ruroc DE. Yeah.
Where do they flog them though? They're here.
Just direct, I think. Only direct.
I think they're all direct. I don't know if many places actually stock them.
Yeah.
But I genuinely am impressed. But they're loud. They're very loud. Yeah. Loud.
I quite like the style. I do like the style, but I think the loudness would put me off.
Yeah.
If you wear earplugs, then it's not too much of an issue. It's a little bit of a pain when you're trying to listen to, like, once you get to speed, so 80 mile an hour plus, the wind noise is fairly substantial. So even when I've got the Cardo Pack Top Bold on, so if I'm listening to, I don't really listen to music much anymore, but if I'm listening to a podcast while I'm riding, even at full volume with my earplugs in, sometimes it can be a bit tricky to listen to at sort of motorway speeds. But normal speeds, it's okay. Okay. But it is still loud. It is
what's the price? What's the price on them for?
I think they're about £350.
Quid?
For the 350 quid. So for the Atlas 2.0, don't get the original one, and don't get the Berserker. They do this model called the Berserker, which has goggles, but it's looks great, but it's
I saw Lamb Chops had he posted something about that on this week.
The Berserker's basically the old. It's like the old Atlas shell with some the goggles. The system's amazing. It's magnetic goggles, but you still have to take the goggles off. If you stop at lights and you want to crack the visor open. Can't do that with goggles, can you?
No, goggles you can't do that on the road.
And the vision through the aperture with the goggles is really quite limited. So you find yourself having to move your head to see. You can't just Action Man eyes it. You have to move your head to see.
I mean,
riding the bike through the letterbox.
The styling is definitely not for me, but I've never had one in my hand, so I couldn't comment. But from the look of it, it wouldn't be something that I would do.
You like to get a helmet in your hand, Sean? Do you before you make a decision?
Absolutely, you need to give it a proper polish.
Whatever. Fair enough.
Give it a rub.
Right. And on that note, men, I think we're done. That's like 3 hours, almost exactly. So well done. I think we've broke the record.
Awesome.
Gents, before I sign off, I'll pass it over to you. Are there any shout-outs you want to give, plugs, anything you want to shout about?
I mean, from my side, I'd just like to thank everybody for being along for the journey and supporting me or anybody I think it's a great thing that it's a great community to have, and I'm grateful for everybody that's been along for the ride, for every comment, every like. I'm more than grateful for everybody that's been along for the journey. So, cheers.
Oof. I was going to say what Sean was going to say, so I'm looking a proper dickhead now, aren't I? Jesus.
Bugger.
Oh. Well, we'll just check out my channel then. Check out my channel. Yeah, come along. Have a look.
Thank God for beer.
Yeah, well, thank God for beer. And also, yeah, come along. I mean, the same sort of bollocks nonsense chat that we've been having today is the same sort of shit you're going to find on the videos that me and Sean have been putting together recently.
Yeah.
And I think the same kind of mood and attitude that Bruce has been putting together as well. Just it's all about biking, isn't it? Let's just have a let's have a laugh and
have fun
and enjoy riding bikes, because that's what it's about, isn't it? I mean,
absolutely.
Life is so serious nowadays. Bikes are frigging cool, so let's do more of that.
Yeah, definitely. Whether it's politically correct or 100% factual or 100% right, who gives a shit? As long as let's get out there and enjoy the roads.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Right.
I don't know about you, but I get questions off of people saying, what's the best way that we can support you? Like whether it's through Patreon or whether it's through whatever means. And honestly, the best way to support a channel is to watch the channel. Yeah, is to be there and to contribute to the channel through the comments. So one of the biggest things is hit the subscribe button and hit the bell. Believe you me, because the algorithm, the YouTube algorithm looks at that. So if you can hit the bell, it's a plus. Just means you'll get notified every time there's a new vid. And then if you comment, if you just give a little comment, and it doesn't matter if it's a thumbs up or a thumbs down, sadly, but thumbs up or thumbs down. But let us know.
Anything.
Let us know what you think of it. If you don't like it, tell us why. And just contribute, because we learn what you want in a vid from your comments, and hopefully we can build up something that you really enjoy and we enjoy making. Is that a fair one?
I mean, yeah, definitely. I mean, isn't it weird? I don't know if it's the same with you guys, but probably 80% of the views are non-subscribed.
Yeah.
It's a very low amount that the regular subscriber comes back to your videos. It's a very, very high percentage of non-subscriber views. I don't know if you guys are the same, but
I'm about 50-50, to be honest. I'm probably about 50. Yeah, I'm about 50-50. And maybe just favouring towards the subscriber count, but I was less than that. It was more into the sort of 70-30, 70% unsubscribed, 30% subscribed. But now I'm pretty much 50-50.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's interesting.
But it's things like mention it in your vids. It's like it's mentioned there. Hit the subscribe button. I get a little bit of flack for it, for the whole ding dong that bell.
Yeah, me too. Me too, definitely. Yeah.
But it's amazing when you mention it, people do it. It's crazy. Yeah.
And the little call to action animation jobbies saying, subscribe now.
Yeah.
Hit the button, monkey.
I think I went a bit overboard with all that, so
Dance
I'm trying to ease off
monkey.
that a little bit. Dance like bear. Dance like bear.
I always say to people as well that I think the absolute biggest way that people can support the channel is to, if they watch a video that they enjoy, just tell somebody about it.
Share it.
Yeah.
Just if you've got a mate that likes biking and you enjoyed the video about biking, just say, check out this video. And that's a huge, because all of the liking and the subscribing and the commenting is awesome, and it has a huge effect. But I think the value on somebody that in real life saying to you, I enjoyed this, I think you would enjoy it too, is exponentially more. Just like if somebody that I like, that likes something that I like, says to me, I think you'd enjoy this thing, I'm definitely going to check it out. 100%.
Yeah. Cool. Well, on that note, tell everybody about this. Tell them about the channels.
Just keep coming back, folks.
Definitely.
And hopefully we'll give you good reason to keep coming back.
even if it's just for the drivel.
Yeah, and the sat-nav meltdowns.
Yeah.
Well, gents, it's been a pleasure. It's been an absolute pleasure. We're not quite
Always.
as drunk as we were the last time, but yeah, it's been thoroughly enjoyable to chat with you, and I hope, well, we will get a chance to do this in person in the future, and I cannot wait.
Yeah, I hope so.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, thanks for having us along, Bruce. It's been a pleasure, mate.
Absolute
Cheers,
pleasure, boys. You look after yourselves. Keep on doing what you're doing, and we'll meet up soon.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Right,
Look forward
folks,
to it.
I hope you've enjoyed this one. I've given up. I've given up saying what the future lies. Who knows? But keep doing your thing. Keep looking after those that you love. Get on out there and live your life. Ooh-ha! Bosh. Cheers, boys.